Welcome to the Squad Games Podcast. Squad Games Podcast.
So, is there any media that you guys have watched or consumed this week that you guys have enjoyed or would like to talk about?
This week, no, but last week I did see 28 Weeks Later.
Okay.
It was a pretty good movie. You know, it's not as good as the original is going to be, but you can't really be better than the original, obviously.
Okay.
And it's a new trilogy, and then there's like a big Power Rangers moment. So anyone who has seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Which is funny, and I think in a way works because people were talking about that a lot. Yeah. It's a big one. Yes.
So, you know, Giacomo, I've heard things about it. I've heard that there's some really high points in the movie. The movie's very good. I've also heard that the movie is awful at certain points. And I've also heard it's like 28 dongs later. You know?
They definitely have a small focus on some masculine features, you know, just long enough for you to see it, but not long enough for you to have to, you definitely notice. That's what I can tell you. And overall, the roller coaster of the movie is pretty high. It's pretty high. There's some low points, but for the most part, I had a good time watching it.
Aidan, how about you? Anything?
What have I seen recently? Okay, so I did watch the new Jurassic World movie because my little brother is like peak Jurassic World age. So he was like, we have to go see it. So I went and saw it. It was fine. It was just like a fine dinosaur monster movie. But my wife and I have been watching Poker Face on Peacock, and it stars Natasha Lyonne. It's like a detective show where she can always tell when people are lying. And it's the same main character every episode, but the rest are episodic. It's just a very fun show. If you want a little bit of popcorn, fun time, and try and, you know, figure out a mystery partway through, I would highly recommend it. It's a very fun and pretty funny show overall. Okay.
Yeah. I like that. I will say that I did watch a TV show this week. And I'm not going to lie, it was absolutely horrendous.
Oh no.
Like I complained last week or like a couple weeks ago, and then like my whole entire week was saved by the Predator cartoon, you know, that just came out. There's nothing that could save me. In fact, I feel so much worse for the Marvel universe knowing that this exists and went public. It is by far the worst Marvel television show that I have ever seen in my life. And I even watched Iron Fist. Iron Fist is my number 2 most hated show. I will tell you, Ironheart, both of them start with iron for some reason. Ironheart was absolutely one of the worst things I have seen in a very, very long time. And I actually watched the whole thing because I kept asking myself, there's no way it can get worse, right? Every episode was worse. Every episode expounded upon more and more plot holes, more and more bad decisions. It was awful. It was absolutely awful. But you know what's not awful? Kill Team. Kill Team has a ton of fun teams. I will say Ironheart is like playing against like an Inquisition player, you know, who just tells you no all the time and you just hate your life and you're stuck in a 4-hour game because you're like you're at Worlds. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah. Today we're talking about, well, I guess we started here. Today we're talking about the most fun kill teams in Kill Team. And today we have Aidan over here as our guest. Aidan is a legendary person in our community who comes to our events, and everyone that I know who has played Aidan has had a wonderful time playing against him. Below me is my partner in crime, Giacomo, and we're going to be talking about all the different kill teams just for you. It's a tier list. So we, of course, you've seen our tier list videos. We have a cool little custom tier list. Now, fellas, we have S, F, B, C, and D. What do these tiers stand for?
Aidan, take this one.
All right. Well, S is obviously S tier. It's super fun,
right?
Yeah, super fun. F
Hell yeah.
ordinarily is fail, but F in this case is for fun. This is a team that is just fun to play against. B is just B tier. They're solid. You'll have an okay time against them. C tier, you there might be a couple hangups on this team here if you're playing as or against them. And D tier, something went wrong. I'm going to highly predict that the team I've been playing recently, Higher Tech Circle, I think they're getting cooked in D tier. But we've talked pre-podcast. This does include how fun they are to play against, but it's more weighted towards how fun they are to play as. But if there is a team that has like a few really nasty gotchas or like something that really inhibits the fun of, especially someone like a new player to play against, they're going down a bit, no matter how fun they are for you to play.
So another thing about this is subjective, right? This is our experiences with Kill Team, which is going to be different than everyone. And also, it is highly dependent upon your opponent, right? You could play somebody that we think is super fun, but they're just cooked as a human being. Maybe they're just a ding dong incarnate, right? And you're going to hate your life and you're going to hate them after the game. Or you might play somebody who plays Warp Coven like a Giga Chad and takes 1 sorcerer and 10 Zangors, and you absolutely have an amazing time against them, because they're super fun as a person. This is more of a generalization of a lot of different teams. So keep that in mind as we're doing stuff. If you guys disagree with us and you're watching this YouTube video, go ahead and put it in the comments. If you're watching it or you're listening to it via podcast, please make sure to go over to our Discord. The link will be in the description, and come and tell us why we're wrong or what you think. Because I'm sure when we put Hyrotech in D tier, people are going to say, hey, well, I like my models not dying and I think it's fun, and hey, that's okay. I
agree.
I'm going to put Tau down there too, because I hate him, but I love him too.
It's like Schrodinger's team. It's always fun and always not fun at the same time because I'm playing it,
Exactly. And while myself and Giacomo are typical, content creators, we do have our guest Aidan, right, who will mellow us out. Maybe he's just going to inflame it. Maybe he's just going to fan the flames of excitement. So we'll find out soon. Before we go on, I did update our tier list, and I've separated them into their seasons. We have Volcus, Beta Decima, Gallodark, Octarius, White Dwarf, and annual teams.
Very nice. I like the new format. It looks cleaner.
Good. This is clean.
You. Yes.
Yeah. So where do you guys want to start? Do we want to start in also D is probably for David, if David's ever watching this, or anyone who's watching this is for David, No one likes David. I'm just kidding, David.
Wow. Yes. So I think we should start from, I would say we start at the White Dwarf / annual teams. Just get them out.
Yeah, they're like the worst teams.
Because we already have them. They're the least amount of stuff. But quickly, right before we do that, we just want to let you know that if you are in the SoCal area, we do have an event coming up in August. That is the Midsummer. That is the August 9th and 10th of the weekend, 2-day event. And I believe that is 2 golden tickets, if I got that correct. 2
golden tickets, and it's our birthday event. So it's going to be marking our 4th year, our start of our 4th year of running events. So we will be giving out extra stuff to everyone. It's going to be awesome. And if you can make it, we would really enjoy to host you as players. So it's going to be awesome. And after that is LVO. LVO is in October.
Yeah. So check both those out. You can find the tickets at squad-games.net or in the video description or in the podcast description. And let's go and let's start with the fun kill teams now.
Giacomo, we also have another shout out.
One more shout out.
Here we go.
Yeah. Before we get too deep into the episode.
Oh boy. I bet it's for Alex Popov.
We'll say I'm going to both events, LVO and Midsummer Mayhem. You should go too. You'll have fun.
This one's a super.
See if Higher Tech Circle is actually not fun to play against.
That was climactic. The glasses are all skewed.
Figure out what he brought.
We have and of course I pulled the one that has this. Let me open this. It's so cool.
Yes.
There it is.
We have a wonderful new product that you guys can buy on our store. It is the Highlander Hobbies brushes, designed here in Los Angeles, California by myself and Giacomo and Saya. And we have these wonderful, beautiful brushes with an insert that tells you about how to take care of Kolinsky Sable brushes and a little thank you note and what comes in it. We have a size 4, a size 2, a size 1, and a size 0. The size 0 is called a Dirk. The number 1 is an Immortal. The 2 is a Workhorse, because that's the thing you're going to use the most. I should probably go here.
Let the people see it.
The number 2. The number 2 is the Workhorse, right? And number 4 is the Claymore. So all wonderful brushes, and it would be an amazing thing if you could help support us by purchasing these brushes and continuing along your hobby journey. Speaking of which, I've been editing Hobby Highlanders, so those should be coming to YouTube again here shortly. I don't know if we have a ton of overlap between our podcast episodes and Hobby Highlander, but I'm sure people are excited to know that I'm almost done with this next one, and I hope to have it out by the end of this week.
And if you don't know what the Hobby Highlander is, we generally pit paints against themselves, and we find out which one is, for lack of a better word, the best one you can use. Right. Mm-hmm. So if you're new to that, or if you're interested in more hobby things on our channel, you can check that out as well.
It's a blind painting review. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. Back to Kill Team. All right. So we're going to start off with the White Dwarf and annual teams. Void Dancers. I have been scarred by Void Dancers. I have never played Void Dancers myself, though I've played against them, and I have never, ever, I've enjoyed the people I've played against, but I've never enjoyed having them jump all over the maps like velociraptors and killing everything they see ever in my life. How about you guys? Have you guys enjoyed or had fun playing against Void Dancers?
No. I grit my teeth.
How about you, Aidan?
I might be a little biased here because I probably am number 1 Harlequin hater all time. Not even based on how they play, just on vibes alone. Anyone who knows me knows I hate the circus. They're way too circus coded. So if you guys don't forcibly abstain me straight to D, and it has nothing to do with how they play. I can't possibly put them anywhere else.
I think playing the team, I think they definitely have a lot of fun capabilities. If you're playing the team, they get to do whatever they want, and they're very strong in the current meta. So I don't know if I'd put them in D tier just because I believe as a player, they're really, there's a reason why there are so many just diehard Void Dancer players. They've all moved on to Goremongers, but
That's fair. I think they look like a very fun team to play as. It's 8 models with 3 APL. They ignore a lot of the main rules of the game, and they have a bunch of really cool operatives. You have a bunch of normal dudes, and then you have the Death Jester, which is just a sick model to use. And you have the Wizard Lady. I don't remember her name. Shadowseer?
That's correct.
Shadowseer.
And you have your Death Gesture. You have the Sadith as your rule. So if you're really if you're like a drama kid, you're like, oh, this is for me.
Oh, you eat it up.
So what do you guys think? So I know, Aidan said D tier. D for dancers,
we'll
right?
Get serious. I think B or C. I think they're a little annoying to play against, but I think playing as them, the level of fun I see people have, I don't think they can be in D. They just seem like a blast to play.
All right. How about you, G?
I think he got it exactly right, because they have all these rules that you don't necessarily I don't got to worry about climbing. I can't be shot as easily. You're you like the power, but at the same time, your opponent might be like, well, this sucks. I can't shoot you at all. Domino Field's really messing my life up, oh, here's all their criticals.
I'm going to get
gone.
9-inch charged and everything's going to die. Double kills. All of my Med Guard are dead by the end of turning point 3. Thank you, Charlotte.
But what you'll notice is they're not impossible to beat if you're playing a competent team that can do it. They're just 8 wounds, so they're not the worst thing to play against. I was joking when I grit my teeth. I generally have a fun time against them. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. But I think
they have some gotchas.
They have some gotchas, right? I think B is a pretty safe bet for this team. Because
you guys are more. You guys are all over the place.
So mine was on vibes alone. If it was a vibes tier list, that would be below.
Oh, they'd be S. I love clowns. I'm the opposite of Aidan. I love clowns. I'm trying to find the picture of me as a clown when I was a child.
So we have a B, a C, and a D. So I think we're going to put them in C tiers. Can we all agree on that?
I think that's fair.
That seems great.
That's fair. Okay. Find that average. And who knows, maybe they'll change as we go on, but C seems pretty appropriate.
Okay. Our first team out there. Now we have Warp Coven. Warp Coven. Warp Coven are. Oh, also before we go any further, there's a lot of community painted models here in this tier list. So see if I can.
He's going in.
That is not what I wanted to do. Nope. Okay. Well, that didn't work. Okay. We have a lot of community painted models in here. So between me and Giacomo and even Aidan himself and a few others. So Warp Coven was painted by my wife, Tabletop Mayhem. She runs an amazing shorts YouTube channel and a lore channel. If you guys want to check that out, give her a subscribe and a like. Warp Coven, they used to be bad in the last edition. They came out burning hot this edition, and they haven't stopped. I can tell you this is probably the least fun kill team I've ever played against. Whenever I play against Warp Coven, personally,
I think they're so much fun to play. There's so many things you can do with the team. You can go wide. You can play it short like elites. You have magic powers. You have shooting. You have melee. Like you got all the options. So you can literally play pretty much anything you want, and you're durable. You have great abilities. It's just like as from a
good
player,
roster manipulation.
Yeah, exactly. You have so much fun things you can do that this team is really fun to play. But I totally get what you mean. Playing against them is just a nightmare. Like it's so hard to win.
And remember, we're weighting how fun they are to play, right? Right. What about you, Aidan?
I agree with G. I think this is a really fun team to play as. I think it can be a fun team to play against as well, but it's really dependent on the player and on how well you personally know what Warp Coven can do. If you haven't played against them much, then you're not going to
have a bad time.
You're going to have a very bad time. Yeah, because they're going to be doing a bunch of nonsense.
What do you mean you can move 9 inches? Shoot you with a flamer and teleport
or
away.
You'll be prepared to play against like 6 Zangors because that's what the last person took. And instead you'll play against 3 rubrics and you'll get just double shot with a bunch of flamers.
P1 weapons.
That are very good.
What do you mean you have 2-up saves?
Yeah, isn't that fun? Yes. Against us.
But having 2-up saves is very fun.
It is. It feels really good when you roll those 2s.
It's also I think they have access to one of the most fun ploys to play in the game, which is Fate itself as my weapon. It's just rolling the 2. Even when you watch your opponent do it, you can see the joy they have. Some people do that turning point 1, which is crazy.
The gamble.
I think we have different definitions of fun.
Ploy.
I think
if you're playing that, well, like fun for them, for them.
I think
not fun for you when they change your 6 to a 1. But,
that's absolutely correct. Like I think rolling dice or drawing cards in any game is the most fun thing you can do.
Of course.
So like you getting to roll extra dice throughout the game is so much fun.
So what we're all saying is that this team is really fun to play and really not fun to play against.
Mm-hmm. It can,
especially if you don't know what they do.
Which I think most.
Not to interrupt, but I think there's a bit of a learning curve for this team too, especially with probably a theme with all of these White Dwarf teams with the roster. Like there's a lot of you can take a terrible roster with this team and have just like a miserable time. I mean, maybe I'm totally wrong. And the Warp Coven heads will say, no, you can actually take 1 sorcerer and 10 Zangors and just, tear stuff up.
Yeah, it's 11 models. That's pretty good.
It is, and they're tough. So maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe it's just fun no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely say B tier for the team, personally. But if you guys want to put them into S tier or F tier, that's on you. What are you guys thinking?
I think B is fine. I think they're so much fun to play. The ploys are so good, so much fun. There's so much customization as well. They really feel
sounds like you want to put them in F tier.
I want to put them in F tier. I want to put them in F tier. I think they're fun tier, dude. But I think B is our consensus 2 out of 3. So I think that's where it should fall, right?
Yes, I agree with B.
That is definitely.
Yeah, I think the B tier is probably where they actually fall, because that's our general consensus. Though I think there's so much fun to play as. There's just so many things you could do.
So are we putting them in F tier or B tier, fellas?
I think you and I both voted B.
Yes,
I can barely speak.
Yes, so that I will be outweighed here, and that's okay. That's okay. B is still very acceptable because
the only reason why they're in B tier, right, is because I think that they are not fun to play against. So a lot of times, if you're going to take them to your local, if you're not going to an event or anything, you just take them to a local, and you're like, it's like Felgor, right? They're a lot of fun to play, but you bring them to a local store and you play with them, and your opponent's like, I don't like this game, you know?
I definitely think that was the case right before we got the big balance data slate after Worlds. They have been toned down a bit, obviously not enough, but it's now, I think, to the point where they're not the boogeyman anymore.
Yeah, they're not the boogeyman. Yeah,
they're not. We know the boogeyman. We're going to get there. There's a few boogeymen right now, so I that's why I was thinking like the fun just outweighs the not fun just a little bit more, because if you know,
100%.
You could just play the box of rubric Marines and be like, here's my sorcerer and here's my 5 rubrics, and I built them this way because I don't know to use flamers, and then they're just 2-up armor save Marines that move slow. So you know, could be fun. Yeah.
So moving on to Gatherclade, hunter gatherers.
All right. I'm heavily invested in where this one lands. Many of my teammates on the Cellar Dwellers love this team.
Why do they love this team? Tell us, Aidan.
Yeah, tell us.
They just like the Mechanicus. They want to play a Mechanicus team.
So they like them for the lore. Do they think they have fun with them?
I think they have fun playing them as well. They especially have fun with, I think, the coolest model maybe in the game. Well, yes, that as well. But we all on the Cellar Dwellers enjoy losing. But they have probably the most fun model on the game, and it's the Arquebus with the world's largest base. It's always obscured to everything because the base is so big. I don't know if you've ever had that thing go on guard on Into the Dark against you. It is insane because he's you can't have him not be in cover or obscured. He's just so fun to move around, and I think I personally would put these guys. I put them in B probably. I think the roster really tones them down, but I think they're not. They're not unfun to play against, and I think if you like the Mechanicus, well, there's another Mechanicus team now that I'm sure all the Mechanicus heads will switch to, but. I think, but prior to that, well, okay, so maybe now there's an actual Mechanicus team. Maybe they drop one now that we don't have to buy like 7 kits.
I vote for D tier. If anyone knows time language, this is D tier. I'm going to vote D tier.
Why do you?
Why
D for Dakotah? It's my tier. I live in it. I breathe it.
We can't argue with that.
Born in the D tier. Specifically, not only is this team a real pain in the ass to collect, right? They're a very expensive team,
It's true.
There are going to be events who classify this team here soon. So if you want to buy this team, you might not be able to play them at certain events, not every event, but some, right? If you're just playing at home with your friends and all that kind of stuff, that's awesome. They're the Rangers and the models are cool and stuff, but the team, when I hear somebody when I'm sitting down, and there's a person telling me about what this team can do, my eyes glaze over, and in my head, I just want to die. All I start hearing are 1s and 0s, and I just hate myself, and I hate my life. This team is not fun for me to play against. I have never played this team. I've never wanted to play this team. I think the flesh is strong. Okay, I'm a Catachan guy myself, right? So personally, Dakotah thinks that this team is lame, but I could easily get outvoted here. I'm just saying, Giacomo, it's going to be up to Giacomo now. We have a B tier. We have a D tier. What do you think, Giacomo?
All right. So their mechanic being, hey, I can shoot better, but this is my downside, right? I think anything that gives you get this, but this is fun. The opportunity costs of things are fun for deciding it, right? You're like, oh, okay, I'm going to stack it kind of like this. Now, you got to decide also, it's like, is these mechanics you're comfortable with? Some people don't like those mechanics, right? I think those mechanics are fun because it changes an outcome, and playing against them, they're kind of flimsy bodies for the most part. So when you break them and you break them twice with like a Space Marine shooting twice, like it feels cool when I'm playing against them. But when I'm doing really well, like I comboed it off, right? Like I knew this round I was going to need the melee, so I prepared for this in 2 turns, and you get all that like correct. It's like a bunch of gears moving, you know, it's very AdMech. You know, the oil is blessing them, and it just works. I think this team is middle of the road. It's a B fun tier, because there's times where you could just get swamped because you're small bodies, and if you're not using the combos right, you start breaking. You're like, well, now I'm not having a good time, you know, because maybe this one guy really knows how to play the game. But then let's say in the tournament, you go down. You absolutely lose your first game, and then you just have really good games after that because you're playing with people your level. So it's like, oh, we're like neck and neck, you know, doing our things, and you only lose by 1 or you win only by 1 point, so it's not that bad, and everyone has a good time, right? I think that's where they fall for me.
For me, if you enjoy the lore, you're gonna probably be here. But I think the majority of us know that these guys belong in the D tier. We'll let these two psychopaths think differently. But all of the people born in the D tier, we know what's going on. Okay.
Hey,
see,
fair.
what for me, all of the White Dwarf and annual teams, they all belong in D tier, other than maybe Wormblade. Wormblade's up next. I'm going to solidly put them in C tier. You know, I think that the guys are really all their leaders are pretty cool. They're pretty fun, you know. But I just think, I mean, I could put them in B tier, but we only have so many B slots, you know. Once this slot, we're gonna have to start making decisions, guys. We can't have everyone in B tier, right? So, you know, things might change, everyone. Things might change, but for me, Wormblade, I think belong in C tier. You know, I think I've had different experiences with them in my past life as a competitive player. You know, this model is a very beautiful model painted here. Just saying, Aidan, you did a wonderful job painting this model.
Great job on the poncho.
It was very fun to paint, and they're fun to play as well, I think.
You guys you've played them, Aidan, so I'm gonna bow to you. It was
last edition. I think they're pretty fun to play. I do, however, think that they're very squishy, and they're very unforgiving. And if you put the wrong guys into hiding, you just kind of ruin the game for yourself, which I have done many times, especially last edition, when it was a little more restrictive with the hiding. That was not ideal. And I think they also have a huge feels bad if you lose one of the two guys, one of the two heroes, because everyone else is cool. Like your gunners are very cool, and they do a lot of like they have good stats. Like the mining laser is awesome, but he's still only got 7 wounds. So if you mess up and you lose your Kellermorph, who you're probably taking every game before he kills 2 or 3 models, or like kills a Space Marine, then it feels pretty bad. Having been there, it feels quite bad, actually.
I fully agree with that, and I also generally don't think horde teams are fun to play because there's more things you got to just like deal with, and your opponent has to wait for you to do stuff. So I would
disagree with Giacomo on that.
I'm putting them in C tier already. Like
okay,
just alone.
Nothing I can say.
That's right.
Where would you have put him?
Where would you have put him?
I mean, I would have put him in B for bald, but that's just because we share a psychic.
They do got bald
there.
heads, you know. So
they do. That's yes. I was locked in as the Wormblade because they were bald, just like me.
I like it.
But I respect C. I don't think they're that unfun to play against. I think they're totally fine to play against.
Yeah, I don't think like C is necessarily like super fun to play and not super fun to play against. You know, they're just like they might very hardly go in one direction. You know, they might be like really not fun to play. You know, and maybe they're just like okay to play. You know, like I also think that winning is a part of enjoying the game a little bit. You know, like you can't win every game, but you want to win some, right? And Wormblade have had a decent win rate, surprisingly, you know, like competitively. but I haven't seen very many people. I think there's one person in California that plays them, period. Right? Pretty good with the team.
Very good at the team.
Gellerpox. Gellerpox up next.
Put them in C.
Yeah, I mean, they're not fun to collect. They're not fun to paint for me. You know, they're not fun to play against. There are diehard fans of Gellerpox, though, so I don't think that they're not fun to play, you know?
I think they look fun to play. I think having a bunch of meatheads running up the board looks pretty sick.
Okay.
But I think there might be teams that give you the 4 meatheads running up the board better. In my opinion, that also don't have you dealing that maybe those meatheads can actually do mission actions, for example.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe. So you don't have to spend 2 APL to do it.
So that was one of my things with putting them in C is, although, yeah, you have these huge hulks that just don't like die. They take forever to die. The problem is you can kind of beat them pretty easy because they can't really get to a place fast enough. And even with that update and like increasing some of the ranges, it's just not doing it enough. Sure, it does feel good when you get like one of the guys and just absolutely wails on someone. But you can get it wrong. You could be exposed because you can't hide behind light. So if you're trying to, not be shot, good luck. Like you're going to get shot, right? Yeah. It's just one of those teams. Like the rules right now aren't the most fun to play. Like every time I played against my homie who has them, it's just like you can see the despair on his face as he just starts losing models. And he's a great player. I would say he's better at the game than I am. And just like the team does not allow you to really get that far right now. Back in second edition, absolutely phenomenal. But right now it's not the case. And that is a little bit unfortunate, right? Because you don't want to take your team you put all this time into, and it's just like, it just gets bodied every game. That's not fun anymore. But they're not like D where it's, I'll share a D when we get into Ds.
It's fair. Aidan, are you good with C tier with Gellerpox?
Yeah, I think that works for me. They got a couple fun things. I love their.
Not what I want to happen.
Putting the whole damn list in. I think they got the 1 dice chop weapon. Any team that has a 1 dice attack there's
fun mechanics.
Hysterical. Yeah, the fun mechanics, but I agree with C. I think that's perfectly fair.
Yeah, I think the team has fun mechanics and fun aspects of the team. I just don't think the team is particularly deserves to be in the fun tier, especially this iteration. I think they were a lot more fun last edition than I think they currently are. Right. Mm-hmm. You could see it in the play rate as well, right? When people
I haven't played against them at all. And I've been like a decent number of turnips, but I haven't seen or played against them at all this entire edition.
That's what I'm saying, man. We got to pray to Papa Nurgle right now that they get some good stuff.
Why play them when you can just play Marines? Played Marines are just innately funner, innately better. Like that's where we're at, right? Star Striders are up next.
They have a dog.
They have a dog, which is my favorite model on the team. I thoroughly despise the rest of their models, like artistically.
They got a Blast 3 gun, instantly fun.
I hate how many gotchas the team has.
That's fair.
They have like an Electromeister dude that always does damage. They can like shoot on their big artillery bombardment from
thing.
From conceal. So there's like gotcha mechanics there. I just ultimately, for me, I'd probably put them in C tier, probably D tier. I don't think that they're unfun to play or unfun to play against. It's just this edition, they got done really dirty when everything got redone. Like all of the elites got a lot of like damage reductions and healings, and almost every single horde, right, got worse because of it. And they have never been able to recover. So I haven't seen anyone play them and have a good time, other than my opponent at Worlds, who had a great time. But I did run into close combat with all my hand axes and murdered every single Star Strider with a hand axe. And Aidan, you're familiar with that. I did that to your dwarves.
Yeah, I've got flashbacks. I was gassed as well. There may have been a gas bombardment that caught 10 dwarves.
We're eating burritos today.
Yeah.
I had a blast. But yeah, I don't know about Star Striders. I don't typically play this team. I don't play a lot of the White Dwarf and annual teams. What do you fellas think?
Aidan, take this one first.
Man, I've only played against this team once this edition, and it was my first game of this edition.
Did you have fun?
I did have fun, but
Okay.
if I remember correctly, I used the Hearthkin Dozer to punch the dog into a mine. So that was hysterical. But that was probably what I had the most fun on. I have next to no opinion on this team.
Sure.
They can be painted really well. And I actually do like the models. Unlike Dakotah, I like the Art Nouveau style, but I haven't seen them. I don't know many people who are playing them. I say get them in D tier. Who's playing these?
D tier, get him out of here. F tier,
get them out of here.
F tier, absolute fun. You have your spaceship that gets to shoot stuff. You have a dog. You have units that all get to do something. You have the leader who can, your second
Sweaty
leader
guy over here.
who can do his shotgun and his pistol.
Hey, that is cool.
You have the actual leader model is kind of, I don't really like the model. I don't think it's that good. Replace it with the guy who has the sword from Black Fortress.
Of course.
Right, Black Fortress. That's the game. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Replace him with that. Like the
Smoking
team
his pipe.
is fun, and yeah, sure they die because they're just space Navy crewmen. They're gonna fall apart. But you have so
Giacomo
many
also
different tools.
Likes losing.
Yeah, dude, but they're fun, man. Like it's just cool to be like, I got a ship coming down and blowing stuff up, and I got my dog ran in, picked up the objective, ran away. Like it's just cool little things. Sure, are you gonna win many games? Maybe not, but you're gonna have a good time doing it. I think they're absolutely fun. F for fun. Now you guys have voted down, so I understand it may have to drop a peg or two.
Well, we have to see if you convinced Aidan to change from D tier.
Oof, I don't think I could put him in D tier anymore. G was
okay.
cooking. They got a blast 3. Anything with a blast 3.
It's just rad.
I think it's, having played a bunch of Rekkas, the blast 3 is just so funny when it goes off. Even if you miss everything, it's just seeing the look of fear on your opponent's face as you pull out the 3-inch measuring widget and start measuring around models is so good. So I can't put him in D. Maybe C seems good, since Dakotah, you also voted C.
Okay, that's 2. So I think that's falling into C. Okay.
Sorry, Giacomo.
I totally get it. It's a democracy. It's what happens.
Hey, if you guys don't agree with me and Aidan, make sure you let us know. Okay.
Yes.
Because
DM me directly on Instagram.
Wow. Justice for the dog.
Where can they DM you? What is your Instagram?
Oh, that's just Cartoon Lime.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Cartoon Lime.
You can DM me
It's
directly.
a big old green lime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a big old green lime.
So next up, we have the very first season of Kill Teams. I think that me and Giacomo have talked about this before. I think that you will see more and more Kill Teams get better and higher up on the list the more that we talk about teams, right? Like the longer Kill Team has gone on, the more fun a lot of the teams are. Not always, but a lot of the times. Vet Guard are I can't be objective with Veteran Guard. So I'm going to have to go to you two. I would put them in D tier. I am very much done with the team. D for done for this one. It's really unfortunate because I painted up 2 full teams. I have a full hero team, it doesn't really matter to me the amount of buffs they gave this team. They kind of neutered and killed the team from the last edition. They changed everything that made them unique and interesting, and they completely changed the identity of the team to make space for other teams, which I understand. But in the end, I thoroughly despise the direction that they went with the team. They turned them into a weird Pathfinder team, and now their new buff lets them get severe in close combat. The team's just not really fun to play. I do enjoy playing the team here on stream, but I would never take it to an event just because I've lost hundreds of guardsmen this edition trying to make them work. And I lost 114 or 113, 111, something like that.
111.
The Emperor's finest.
111 at Worlds alone in one event, right? I have tried, so I cannot be objective, so I'm going to let you two pick the place for this team.
Oh, boy.
All right. I'll give my quick opinions because
Let her rip.
The Dakotah pretty much hit it nail on the head. The things about this team that were fun and you had like these unique moves you could do are gone. The only saving grace, in my opinion, and it's not a rules saving grace at all, it is purely it is guardsmen. So you can build guardsmen however you want, and you can customize them to be your faction, your regiment, whatever kind of world. That's the only fun thing, in my opinion, about them. Personally, I just don't think they have the meat anymore to really do too much. So I would want to say C, but in my heart, I'm putting them in D.
Yeah, I mean, they're also not very fun to play against anymore because they have ceaseless, they have rerolls. Now you could argue that last edition they weren't really fun to play against, and I would also say I whenever I beat people, I would spank them, right? And when I would lose really difficult, like really badly. So I don't think the team is necessarily fun to play against either.
Which is another thing when you're playing against someone and you're absolutely destroying them, and you see it on their face, like then it's not as fun for you anymore now because you're like, oh man, that sucks. Like, you know, you
anyone who has a soul.
Right, yeah, like you took out 2 to 3 hours of your day, maybe more, to go play this game maybe once a week because that's the time you can dedicate to do it. Because you know, I really only have enough time to play 1 or 2 games a week, if that. So I take all this time to do it, and if I'm not having a good time doing this, it's like, well, that sucks. Especially when your opponent knows you're not having a good time. It's just not a good time for anybody.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Aidan?
So the only I haven't played as this team. I have a teammate who's just soloing.
Elijah.
Elijah. He also refuses to call them Death Corps. He's been calling them Vet Guard. He's just doing like a new regiment every like couple.
When you play Elijah, you have fun, and he's gonna play.
Elijah's a fantastic.
He has a good attitude.
He's the guy who got me into Warhammer. So I'm a little biased, but also I think that if you did not play the team last edition, I think you will have a great time with them now. I think just having really good shooting, the guys still die like guardsmen should, but the shooting's really solid. If you don't remember how glorious the demo guy was, it won't feel as bad when he doesn't do anything when you deploy him.
Okay.
But also they got, again, I'm a sucker for a really good firefight ploy, and they have I don't know the exact name, but it's like the Ultimate Soldier ploy where you get all the guardsman orders. I don't know if it's good, but anytime someone uses that against me, it's like the greatest, the greatest moment of the event. Like yeah, it's incredible. They get all of them. They still do nothing and die, and it's just so good. So I would put them higher than D, but
I can give you C because I was reaching.
I told you that. For me, I'm biased against the team, so we can put them in C.
I think C's fine. Yeah.
Since I dislike them so much, I'm gonna say
okay.
I think I can't be objective. Yeah. Like I'm very negative towards the team. Commandos are up next.
Ooh, this is a good one.
I agree. I think this is a very, very fun team, and I think it was well designed. I think that the redesign of everything as well is very fun as well. They have
Love
fun
that they
operatives.
took away piercing and just added an extra dice to all the things that had piercing. I think that's awesome. That's like the way the team should be from the start. They're orcs. You want to throw as many dice as possible.
Mm-hmm. Go with the volume.
No longer can he can live now, which is insane. That's so good. That's like a level of fun you don't understand until you experience him like living and just like hanging out. So good.
Yeah, I'm gonna say F tier for this team.
It's an F tier for me.
I think it's an easy F. The only reason I won't put it in S is if you don't have a way to get Seek onto that grot, you will have a miserable time. If you can't get that grot, because they could pretty easily just get 9 points on the primary, and you could feel kind of shut out, like you can't do very much. But even then, like it's a grot zipping across the board. Like
it's just
look at that, you're like that's so cool. And he's got his little scuba mask. Oh, like the team is fantastic. Yeah, great team, really well designed.
Yeah, I love the Commandos. They're one of my favorite teams. I think that I don't think I've ever not had fun playing against them. They always feel. Even in the Summer of Melee, you always felt like you had a chance while playing against him, even if you didn't, So like, I think they're just good all around, and I think they're a really fun, solid team.
Yep.
For not only for beginners but for everyone.
Easy mechanics, perfect.
Every guy's unique too, which is super cool.
So we have Pathfinders up next. Actually, this box set, the Pathfinder Novitiates box set, has been notorious ever since it released back in 2021 or 2022. I think
2022 was right. Yeah.
22, 23, 24, 25. Yes. So wait, maybe 2021. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But this team was so broken on release, you could activate like 6 Pathfinders in a row. They were dominant in the meta for a very long time. They got nerf after nerf after nerf. They got a really bad stereotype. They kind of played a lot like how when Pathfinders first released. So a lot of people can understand one of the reasons why Tau players get a lot of hate is because when they first released back in 2001, Pathfinders or Tau that were pushed as, hey, these are the stereotypical good guys in our universe, and everyone kind of hated it. Everyone was like, no, everyone's bad guys, blah, 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 blah. Not only that, but they also had a kind of a play style that was just like, we're going to shoot everything and kill everything before they can get to us, and we suck in melee. And they did it very well. So a lot of people hated them for multiple reasons. This continued to stay around for a while until Games Workshop was like, oh, the Ethereals are kind of evil and they might be brainwavy communists or something, right? And that's kind of where they started going from there. This team is very much, I'm going to shoot you off the board and kill you before you're allowed to play, right? I'm going to put them in D tier.
I think in the current rendition, they're not as oppressive. And if you're
Agreed.
coming from it as you don't really know, I mean, they're hordes. So generally I'm not a horde fan. Anything that's more than like 11 models is like, that's a lot to manage. And I'm just a hater. So I'm going to stick out of this one. I don't think I really got a solid input here.
Okay. How about you, Aidan?
Ooh, man. This is a tough one. I have played.
I'm also okay
team.
with C tier.
I played against this team a decent bit. I haven't played against them with their new buffs, and I know so I'll only go off of what I remember from before they got their new round of buffs, which seemed like solid and seemed to make the team a lot more fun to play as. But I do know they're tough. They were like a tough team to play as because it took a lot, especially compared to last edition. It took a lot of stuff to do the same hitting power as the previous edition. Just because like the marker lights weren't as useful and a lot of your guns have changed. I think they made a lot of the extra weird drones better, which makes for a lot more fun. But I would agree with Dakotah in D tier. I think if you like Tau and you like shooting stuff, then you're probably going to have a great time, but your opponent is just going to be extremely mad about marker lights the entire time, and justifiably so, because they're annoying. Sorry to everyone who plays Pathfinders, but the marker lights are annoying.
That's one of your homies, right?
Yes, my buddy Brad. I think he's bringing them back he was off him for a bit, but he's bringing them back.
Yeah, they're pretty decent.
They got a sick combo they can do with a razor wire and the little drone, the grav inhibitor drone that makes it so you just can't climb the razor wire. And it
makes it so much fun to play against.
So annoying to play against, but it's really fun to play as, I would imagine.
Did we also put a razor wire in D tier? Especially for all the dwarf teams.
We'll have a different tier list with equipments at some point.
Oh, the equipment tier list would go crazy.
With enough time, anything's inevitable.
Yes. Love Comms Device. That's my favorite one. I could agree with Dakotah and D though. I don't know. Maybe post buffs, the Pathfinder enjoyers can tell me that
they are pretty
goated
rather,
now, but
they're rather competitive and they're rather good right now. The buff did wonders for the team. The team is able to win now when before it was rather difficult for them to win. So if you guys want to play Pathfinders, it is still a good team out there, but people will make Tau hate comments.
rough.
You'll also, some of their tac ops are very interesting as well. They don't have a lot of for so many models. They don't have a lot of spare APL, so it can be a struggle to plant beacons, which you kind of want to do with like a 12 model team. And you can confirm kills as well pretty easily, but like the instinct is like, oh, I want to plant my beacons, but you can't plant the beacons because the model wants to marker light instead of planting a beacon, which kind of stinks.
That's fair. That's fair. We have novitiates up next. I would also put novitiates in D tier. Wow, Dakotah just doesn't like all these guys.
Not like
girls at it.
How many Ds have I put into this game so
I'll
far?
say straight.
I think you've requested like 2 so far. 3. You've suggested 3 to go in D.
I even put Hunter Clay down there, man.
That's true. I had to bring
That's why it's not a Dakotah tier list. It's not a D tier list, right? I'm just trying to get as many, secretly, my goal is to get as many teams into D tier. That means I win.
He's trying to get 28 teams in there.
Yep, 28 teams into the D tier. So I've been taking the lead on a lot of these so far. So why doesn't somebody else start with novitiates?
I can let it rip.
Let's do it.
I don't like playing against this team. I think this team's a little annoying. I think that it's certainly a cool team. I'm sure it's very fun to play as. Any like dice manipulation mechanic is very fun to play as. But I think they're just pretty annoying to play against. I think their blinding light ability is super obnoxious, and it's like an inherent gotcha where you can't warn your opponent about it before they take a shot. Like it would be lame to do from an opponent's perspective and from your perspective playing the team, because that's the whole point of the ability. So it just kind of feels bad. And it's just like, it's hard to calculate how much damage you're going to do because they could easily spend their faith points to like make a bunch of saves. And I think Dakotah's cooking. I think put them in D tier.
It does. They're not necessarily a dice game team. They're not fun to play against. They have healing. They have a whole bunch of other stuff. And the models look
all right.
Dumb. I hate them.
I like the models.
I hate them.
They're cool.
What about you, G?
Put them in D. I think all those mechanics are legit. Like I have a buddy who plays them or played them pretty regularly. And it is the gotcha, the little thing, like how much damage I do? Hold on. I got to calculate my faith points. Let me do this. And this is okay. I didn't actually kill you yet. All right. Let me try again. Okay. Cool. And then, that's just
when all three of us agree on a tier, that's saying something.
It's just
sometimes Giacomo's like F tier, I'm like C tier, and Aidan's like D tier. And so who knows where they go? But when we all think they're D tier, my guys,
because if you're playing them too, it's if you especially because they got that change, right? Which I think earlier in this edition they were fine. They actually had some pretty good play. They were strong. With a lot of these changes, you can't do as much of your crazy moves now. So you kind of just break apart because you still are just 7 wounds. And yeah, I think your leader's 9 with the plasma pistol and the 3-up save, but
leader got 3 APL, I think.
Leader has 3 APL. Yeah, she has 3. The sister superior.
That's a nice change. I like
and
that.
It's just all right. I'm looking forward to a future different Sisters of Battle team. Maybe that'll come out because I think novitiates are just okay. Like I thought a Repentia squad would have been cooler. Like, redeeming themselves in battle, but this is like, oh, hey, straight up, here's your first assignment, which is okay, I guess. It's fine.
I want a real Sisters of Battle too.
That'd be cool.
What about Legionaries? Giacomo, take the lead on this.
Oh my God, F tier, so much fun. They got different abilities. You got magic, you got shooting, you got range, and you can switch it up. You could just be like, I'm going to be only bolters and heavy weapons, or I'm going to be only melee. The Shrive Talon going like, haha, I blocked you first, and then I kill you, or something. Like, never fight the Shrive Talon. Like, there's just such cool things with it. Now, I'll caveat. For your opponent's perspective, it is kind of annoying when your leader runs up and goes like, I'm injured. No, I'm not. I just killed you and I drained your life. I'm fine. And the same thing with the Psyker. They got pulled back a little bit, but the ability still exists. And that's still kind of like, I hate that. But the team itself, you got 6 models. You don't got to worry about as much things and you have options. F for me.
F for fun.
F for
How
fun.
about you, Aidan?
I think they can't go below F. I could see the argument for putting them in S tier, but I think they got a few. I think if you ever play an 8 model team against these guys, you will experience true sadness. Or an 8 wounds team, you will experience true sadness. The amount of sweet little Hearthkin salvagers I have instantly lost is astounding. But I still think they can't be below F. I think it's a sick team. I think the models are super cool. The customization is whatever you like. You could do whatever you want with these guys, and you're encouraged to. They're not. It's not like Nemesis Claw where it's like
you should be. Yeah, you should be
Night Lord. So you have to like come up with some cool like conversions. Like you just run these guys as your favorite Chaos Space Marine chapter. You could even run them as like Blood Angels or Space Wolves or something. It would be fine. They got the Anointed, one of the coolest models in the game. He's always been dope. I think it's an easy F without question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna I would say S tier. You know, it's not, when Giacomo was like, "Oh, they could do this, they could do that, they could do this." I was like, "Oh, that all sounds fun." You know,
I'll come with you. Put him in S.
Okay, all right. Let's throw him in S.
I think if it was a couple months ago, I don't think they would be there. But I think now they're still very good.
Yeah, they've been tuned. They've been tuned a little bit, so now they're funner to play against. You know,
and you can still just kill him. You could just shoot him and just blow him up.
Yeah,
praying to Slanesh that the sexiness of this team stays forever.
We have Corsairs. The Corsairs up next. A very fun kill team, I think. I would probably put them in F tier. You know, I think that they seem like a lot of fun. They can move, they can shoot, they have a lot of tactical flexibility. They're an elf team. They do a lot of damage. They do have some gotchas, which is not as fun to play against. But I think while playing this team, that kind of outweighs a lot. But you kind of had the Shade Runner has been tuned back so that now he can't teleport through into the dark walls and stab people. You know, that's been done, right? Or can he still do that?
He can't do that anymore.
I think it makes it more difficult. He can't dash and then move.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So because the thing is, you would do that with the slice.
It's real hard to
because he has to have visibility now to do it, right? I think is the thing in order to do your slice ability.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that was the change.
It made it a lot more difficult, which makes it a lot more fun to play against.
They've removed some of the cheese that was kind of like harassing this team. The team's not overpowered, right? For me, I put them definitely in F tier.
I think F is a great spot. They're still pretty powerful with their weapons, and they can fall apart. So you know it's not impossible to deal with them, and they have enough cool moves and cool abilities that like if you're playing with NPOs and you're trying to show off like to your friends as you're all playing, it's like, my guy's going to move through the wall, and that's just like a cool thing you can do, and it's cool every time. It's never not cool.
Just a roster of really cool models too. Like every guy on the team is
they look cool
sweet.
too.
A lot of piercing 2. You get to whip out one piercing 2 gun, but they got like several piercing 2 guns. They have options. Like that's fantastic.
They do.
It's just a blast.
Fantastic team. That was an F tier box. Nachman was an F tier box.
It was. Nachman was A, and that's when the Squad Games podcast started. You know, back in the day. That's the very first box we covered. Maybe we're just biased. Who knows? If we are biased, you know, you got to let us know. We got Phobos and Blooded. I remember we had our very first event was like the day Phobos came out, and Giacomo played them at the event.
I
lost every game because they did not come out very strong.
It took a little bit of tuning, but in the current edition,
they're pretty good.
I think they're so much fun. You have a bunch of dudes who run up. You can do as our homie David would say, the murder snuggle. You just run up and blow yourself up with the thing. You have landmines. You got a guy who can come from conceal and take a shot. They're like the guerrilla warfare team if you had to think of one right now.
Fast, tanky guys, Space Marines 3 APL, real fun. I think it's definitely F tier.
I'm putting them in F, but I could see somebody trying to hit them down to B. But I'm an F enjoyer.
Somebody will be me.
There we go. Let's get it. That's what I was waiting for.
Aidan, let's hear why.
I think they're super fun to play as, but I'm always annoyed playing against this team for like 2 reasons. One is the models are impossible to teleport. and having never played as the team and having no desire to play as Phobos, I pull up and I'm like, okay, so these are the Reavers. I know what the Reavers are. And then it's just like 4 other dudes who look exactly the same. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to have to ask you at like 10 times around.
I didn't know we were talking about Pathfinder still.
Okay, well, but it's worse when there's only 6 of them and you still can't tell them apart. I do think that they're. I would put them in B tier. I think they're a little annoying to play against. They have that sniper that's super fun to play as, but that's so annoying to play against.
When he just does his job.
You mean guard?
We're cooking the death mark shortly because he's very fun to play as, but he will also be taking the team down. I would put him in B tier unless you're playing against David, in which case it's S tier.
You can't hate it. You can't.
Yeah,
hate David.
it's an S tier if you're playing against David.
So Giacomo, does Aidan's descent want to make you put Phobos into B tier?
Again, I've never played as the team,
but I totally understand. Also, with Omni Scrambler is like, I'm gonna make sure that you're not gonna get to do the thing you want next turn.
Oh,
that's also
I forgot where the guy is. Like if they're just within 8 of a guy, he gets to do it to him. Like, but which guy is it?
He just has to.
I don't know. I have to ask.
It's just nuts, right? Like, and he's just like, I got
which
you.
Which guy is it? I don't know.
The dude with the antennas.
I will say B tier for Phobos. Mm-hmm. Okay, I will capitulate to Aidan's demands.
And I recognize this is just me being stupid and not being able to tell what the models are, but that's
well.
That's
I mean, I think personally, it's probably more along the lines for me that they do have like a guard on open. They have Omni Scrambler. They have a nope. They have like, if you move here, I'm going to kill your guy, even on open. And I can see how that could be not fun to play against, right?
All fun to play with, though.
Oh, very fun.
Fun to play.
They also got that D3 damage ploy. That seems.
Have that
the
on deadly shots.
Team. I would kill to have that any time. The amount of times it's lost me a game is several.
And it's nothing like novitiates, where we all agree that they're D tier. Yes. That they're not fun to play with or play against. Next up, we have Blooded. Do any of you have experience with Blooded?
I haven't played as them. I played against them a lot last edition, and they seemed like a very fun team to play as last edition, and they weren't unfun to play against. They had a big guy you can shoot, the Ogren. He's really tanky. They have a lot of really cool threats, but they also kind of die to a stiff breeze. They got a way to like shoot twice with your plasma gun, which is super at this edition, which is super cool. I don't think I'd put them lower than B tier, B for Blooded. I think they're fun to play as. I don't think you're going to have a terrible time playing against them. But it is a horde team. And there's a lot of like the tac ops I think are a little rough.
Sometimes the best thing about a horde team, Giacomo hates hordes, right? I'm going to tell you why hordes are great. Okay. The reason why I originally started playing Vetguard, right? It's because you could trade models for points. You could trade models and kill off your own guys to win the game. Unfortunately, it's not as good in this edition because the kill op exists, and is typically bad for hordes. But I would put Blooded in F tier. It was one of my favorite games at Worlds when I did play against them. My Aussie man fellow, and I just played hand axe guardsman, and we just ran at each other and killed each other in close combat, and it was a ton of fun.
That's awesome.
And then he sometimes blew himself up. Who doesn't like to shoot into close combat, blow yourself up?
Very good ability.
Stab people.
They shoot into combat too. Oh, so good. They got to get down Mr. President as well.
They do.
You're convincing me, Dakotah.
I think they're very, very fun as a horde team. I think that they get a bad rap for not. I think they're a very difficult team to pilot correctly and use the right tac op. So you might not win a lot, but you're going to have a lot of fun while piloting them, and your opponents are going to have a lot of fun killing your models and also dying to them. I think they're great. What about you, G?
This is the one exception to my horde rule. Because as a Magic the Gathering player, I enjoy playing black, and a lot of black's mechanic is doing self-harm or some kind of destruction to yourself. And what's cooler than throwing out a body? Hey, I wanted you to kill him. I wanted the blood point or the blooded point. I want to get Gaze of the Gods off. This is a resource. He is not a model. He is a resource. And I not only have command points, I have bodies. So like this is one of the few exceptions where it's so much fun to run out, die, not care, get someone stuck, callous disregard. guard and shoot them into combat, and then have the Ogren be like big distraction, and then come in with like the butcher, and he just ends somebody's life. So much fun. Very interesting mechanic. It's an F tier for me. Absolute F tier.
Put him in there.
Yeah. The only model that matters is the last one.
You're not wrong.
Well said.
Next up, we have Breachers.
Ooh.
Now,
Pour one out
Giacomo,
for all my Breacher homies.
Giacomo, you have you're painting this team right now, not for yourself, but for a commission.
Correct. I will never finish it for myself now.
Yeah. And then if anyone, wants Giacomo to paint one of their teams, maybe they should reach out. He's a great painter. Now, Giacomo, I want you to lead this one just because you're never going to paint this team again. We've had other discussions as why, and then Aidan, go for it after him. So G, take it away.
All right. Aesthetically, in the box when it came out, it made the most sense. It was so cool. The design is awesome. It's like it's a Navy fighting inside a ship. It makes sense. I like the Breacher's ability to you have the actual Breacher to make something. But ultimately, I just don't think it's as fun as it could be back in second edition with some of their stuff. They're not as decent in this edition, even for like a 10-man squad, 10-man squad. The Void armor is kind of cool, I guess. Overall, I don't really like them as much in this edition, and I think they're not nearly as fun as they used to be. I put this team now somewhere in between B and C, just because the rules aren't unfortunately as strong as they could be.
Okay. I have a much different opinion.
All right.
How about you, Aidan?
I think kind of similarly to G. I'd put him in. I put him somewhere in between B and C. I think the rules are really thematic. I think they have a lot of super cool models. The shield guy is awesome. The axe jack is really cool. The guy who can weld shut a door is extremely cool. They got 2 little super fast robots. But I think I've played against them a bit. Not with any of their super recent buffs, but they just kind of felt like it was a lot of work for not a crazy amount of payoff. And I feel like that could feel pretty bad if you kind of expect them to be one way and then they don't wind up actually playing out that way. So I probably put them somewhere in between B and C, I think.
Okay. I'm going to try and convince you both to put them into D tier.
Okay.
For Dakotah. Okay. For defensive.
Okay.
Defensive tier. I think that the current mechanic of both Veteran Guard and of Breachers, where they get all of their buffs while in their own territory, is innately not fun and bad for the game, right? I think that Breachers do that very much so, right? And I think that, they kind of get, not only do they get a bad rap, right, for Breacher, like, who wants to just stay in your own deployment zone the entire game, right? If you leave your deployment zone, your models are weaker, right? Like, you are rewarded for staying back and not engaging with your opponent and not breaching, not doing what you're meant to do, right? And to me, it just seems like they ran into like a design focus block, and I think the team is just designed poorly. I think the models are cool, but I don't think the team, there's a reason why no one plays them. And why would no one play them? It's because they're not fun. They're not cool. They're not cool anymore. So why would anyone want to play them? Their play rate is awful, right? No one really plays them. And the people that do are just like the diehard fans. Mm-hmm. Somebody brought them to Worlds and lost every single game, right? Like, they had a 0% win rate for the first 6 months of the edition. And that's when they could bring 2 Meltas. I just think that the team is D. Did I convince either one of you to put them into D tier?
No, I think C is still where I'm saying. Like, I love the pets. The cat and the Geist skull is cool. Like, I love pets in Guilty. When you have pets, it's just amazing. Mm-hmm. And with a slight tweak, they could be more fun. Like, you're absolutely right. If they got rid of it just being in your zone, maybe as you keep going forward, it increases every turn. So it kind of encourage you to keep going forward and doing the breach and clear and stuff. Like, that'd be more fun. and let the guy break through Galadark walls, man. Just let it happen. It was designed for that. Like they knew that was their thing in the mind, and then they realized people were breaking it. Whatever. This game's already kind of broken. Yeah, of course, Corsair's can jump through the wall. Why can't? I mean, I guess it's because he makes a hole, and then everybody can. But they're breachers.
Yeah,
I'm just saying they should be able to do it.
You can breach through the outside of the ship, but not the inside. What's going on?
What's going on? Yeah, it's nuts.
Hardened steel. Where do you say, Aidan? Are you keeping them in C tier?
I'll say keep them in C tier. I think they have a lot of fun models, and I don't think they are as unfun for your opponent as like a Novitiates or Pathfinders are.
Yeah. I just think that they're the most one of the most unfun teams, but that's okay. That's my opinion. I'm sure all the D's in the chat will agree with me.
All 28 of them.
And the rest of them will, will agree with you guys. The other 100 and something people. Okay. Farstalker Kinban's up next. Aidan, have you played this team?
I haven't played as this team. I played against them last edition. I played against them this edition. I think these guys are just like a straight up F. I think these guys are awesome. I think Farstalker Kinban are really, they're like, there's a lot going on. And if you can keep on top of all the little tokens they put out and all their like kind of constantly oscillating auras, you're going to have a blast. They got Poach, they got the dogs, they got the Skinner, one of like the coolest weapons in the game. That thing is awesome. I think it's an F. I think these guys are just a blast. They're fun to play against too, because they flip the game up for you, because you always have, kind of similar to Rattlings, you have to keep in mind that they could poach at any point. So it changes how you play missions like loot or secure, where now you have to worry about just stopping them from getting onto the point at all, or doing your mission action first and then holding it down. I think it switches the game up in a really fun way to play against.
Cool. All right. I definitely say F as well.
I was going to put them no lower than B, so I can relent an F to you guys.
Beautiful.
Cool. For me, I think that the team, there are so many people that just like playing this team. And the only reason why sometimes they stop is because they're trying to be competitive or something like that. And other people just continue playing them. The team is a lot of fun. They're really fast. They got a lot of things to do. They die. They kill. I mean, what's better?
Agreed. Ooh, now we're coming to a spicy one.
Hyrotech Circle. Now, Aidan, you've been maining this team for a while. Have your opponents?
Team I ever played.
They were. That's when we first met you.
Yes.
You played this team as well.
Yeah, with the old models.
Mm-hmm. They're a lot more fun to play as now than they were before when I started playing. Oh, man.
So, Aidan, where do you think these guys rank as you have the most experience with them currently?
I think to play as and to play against, I think to play as, they're very fun, but you feel bad constantly. Every time you put the death mark on guard, you feel bad. Every time you tell your opponent you can't move there because I will shoot you with the death mark, I feel bad. When you pick up a guy and put him within 2 inches of someone and shoot twice through him, you feel terrible. And sometimes you do all that and then you lose the game anyway. And you were like, well, I was a jackass this whole game and I lost. They got some really fun models. It also kind of sucks that only one Cryptek is like very good. The other two I think are fine. But you probably wouldn't take them to like a very hyper competitive event. But if you're just like hanging out, bring the other ones. You'll have a blast. But they got to go in D. They're not fun to play against. And every time I plop down Hyrotech Circle, my opponent basically goes, oh boy. And that's how you know it's not but they're like, I've been worrying about this team. And I'm like, well, you should be. I have a 2-page, it's like a front and back of all the things the team can do. Because it's just so impossible for your opponent to remember. I think they got to go in D. We can't get them nowhere but D.
But are they fun to play?
Oh, they're so fun to play. They're extremely fun to play.
Does that push them up one rank for you?
No, because I still feel bad playing them. Because they're just so mean.
It sounds like if you have a soul,
you will have fun playing them, but you will feel bad for your opponent unless you lose. In which case, even then, if you lose, you have to get really stomped. because they also just kind of delete one of the main mechanics of the game, which is the kill op.
Death.
Which
they just deny
feels
kill op.
terrible. It's like the only team that does that. And it feels bad for your opponent, especially if you're someone who loves to take the kill op. Then you're like, well, what are you going to do? You have to switch up your whole gameplay, which is fun to make your opponent do, but I'm waffling on too long. Put him in D tier. Get him out of here.
What do you think, G?
Like the Necron enjoyer in me wants them to be higher, but I totally get it because all those mechanics I've had to deal with, and it's just like, oh man, this is kind of annoying. I thought I killed it. No, I didn't. 4-up. It came back to life. Use the one ability to reanimate him.
It's not it's a 3-up. It's not even a 4-up.
It's even better now. You're right. It's even better now. And the slow bubble is annoying. It did get a little nerfed, but still annoying. Shoot. Yeah. Okay. I think I want them higher, but I can't put in my heart. I can't do that. I have a soul. And the only Necrons with souls are the ones that have a book written about them. Otherwise, the rest of the Necrons don't got souls.
So were you putting them G?
We're putting them in D.
Okay. I probably would have put them in C, but I have seen too many people at events get disheartened while playing against Hierotech Circle. I have seen people be able to pilot them well and make sure their opponents are still having fun, but it is a challenging team to do that with, you know? It was challenging for me to do that with Vetguard and make sure my opponents were still having fun playing them last edition. So I know how hard that can be. Keeping your opponent's feelings in check. And it's a hard team to do with. I would agree. I think the team is really fun. I would kind of put them in C, but I've been outvoted. They are going in D tier.
That Apprentice shooting, it's nothing's more annoying than that guy just being like, I can see you, so therefore I can shoot you.
He's crazy. He just has an infinite range crack grenade launch.
To be
like, what are we doing?
To be honest, this is one of the teams that I do not ever want to play against. And that's saying fair. Something.
That's fair. I don't think anyone wants to play against.
I'll take the challenge every time, even if I lose hard or have a really hard time playing.
Playing a Marine team as well is not a fun matchup generally. That's rough.
So we have this beautifully painted Kasrkin up next. Giacomo's Kasrkin painted model. Giacomo, you are the Kasrkin enjoyer of the group. Why don't you tell us where you think they belong after all of their buffs for this edition? There he is.
There it is.
There he is.
Oh, beautiful. What a stash on him, man.
Thank you. Shout out to Alex Popov for hooking up all the heads. Yeah. He's Sergeant Mario.
Gorgeous.
Sergeant Von Mario.
I think the team
colorblind Marines.
These color. Oh yeah, that's right. Because I don't think if I don't know if these guys can see the color.
Yeah. So all these little brown dots to me look the same. And then Giacomo, and I can only tell you that I know that they're red and green or something like that because we took this picture and I enlarged it immensely. And once they got far enough apart, my colorblind eyes were like, oh, there's a red one and there's a green one. Giacomo didn't lie to me. Oh, okay. And then when it's like this, I can't see it.
I'm pretty honest. All right. So the team itself is super straightforward. It's not hard to figure out. A mechanic is very simple. Pick one of these 4 abilities. You have that ability. Cool. In total, without getting more into detail, B tier for me off the top. They're decently fun. They have a good amount of mechanics that you're going to enjoy. They're very honest. They're a very honest team. They will not lie to you. They will not lie to you, your opponent, or the cat next door. But because they're so honest and they keep their boots shined, like they don't got any crazy tricks. You're not suddenly getting to do, if an opponent comes in this range, 2 guys can immediately dash and then take a shot. There's nothing like that.
No gotchas.
No gotchas. They're one of the most honest teams you can play against. Your opponent, he's a good person. If you're playing against this team, shake their hand. They're going to have a good time. You might just do okay. And they got rid of recon from the team when they used to have all 3. And shame.
Would love confirm kill.
Would love confirm kill. Would love confirm kill. Would love recon because I just move up the board all day with their ability to just move faster. But no, it's not a thing. So ultimately, they're decently fun. They're not like crazy powerful. They're not unpowerful. So you just have an okay time, and you're probably going to lose a little more often than you're going to win. But you kind of have to know that going in. The silver lining is you could like the challenge, like I do, and try to solve the puzzle with a broken puzzle piece. You try, and sometimes it works. Most of the time, it doesn't. So I'm a B enjoyer for this team.
I would put him in B. I will trust Giacomo. How about you, Aidan?
I'll trust you as well. I've never had an unfun game against Kazakhstan ever. I think they're honest, and models are dope, and they got a bunch of fun guns. Like,
yeah,
one more Jask, and they hit on threes now.
Yeah,
great. I will also say I think huge in terms of fun for your opponent, removing the elite point system. I don't know if that was fun.
That was not fun.
Played as the team, probably not. No. But it's much more fun to play against it now when you're like, oh, I guess I'm just dead. You just run the numbers, and you're like, I'll trust that you run the numbers because I'm not going to run your numbers for you.
Yep. Turn this into a hit. Turn this into this. Mm-hmm. Elite points was most of my friends did not have fun playing against it. I understand why.
Yeah.
So we have Hand of the Archon up next. Hand of the Archon, they're really cool models, right? They have some interesting stuff on the team. They have a lot of, when they start rolling through your opponent pretty hard. They can get stomped pretty hard. I would put them in B tier. I think they're a very fun and kind of like team that can kind of go either way. Dark Eldar are also pretty cool. So I'm an enjoyer, but I don't necessarily think the team's like overly fun or overly fun to play against, so I would put them in B tier. I think they're just a really good team, really fun, and, but not fun. You know what I mean?
I think I agree with you just because their rule is cool. The power from pain stuff is always fun. And Dark Eldar are just like, pointy elves are cool. Dark elves are cool. They're pretty decent in shooting. They're decent in melee. You got your operatives for it. It's a B tier for me. Nothing screams at me like, wow, this is a really fun mechanic. It's just like, it's a cool
really
mechanic.
Not fun to play against. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I never feel discouraged seeing them across the board.
I mean, we put Warp Coven in B tier. Come on.
I put these guys in F. I think they're super fun. I played them a bunch last edition.
All right.
Pretty early on in last edition, and they haven't changed a ton. I think they get their power from pain tokens when they injure a model now instead of killing them, which is fantastic. It's like better. A very, very good change. The bird guy is an insanely fun model. They got a bunch of piercing 2 guns. They got a bunch of crazy weapons you could put on their leader. You probably still only take like the Venom Sword and the piercing 2 pistol, but you could take a crazy one. They got the Dark Lance, which is just like a ridiculously cool weapon.
You know what?
I'd say they're F tier. They got 2 ploys that are 2 like gambits that are sick. They got one that makes your opponents next time they use a ploy cost 1 more. Awesome. Doesn't deny it. It's just makes your opponent a little mad, which is very fun to play as. And they also have the greatest gamble of all time, which is passing to get the command point and seeing if your opponent is also going to pass and deny you doing any of your ploys or handing out any pain tokens with your drug. So I'll put them in F. I think they're very fun. I think they got a lot of very fun mechanics to them, about on level with Corsairs.
All right. I mean, I'm willing to put them in F tier.
You convinced me. You convinced me enough because I remember I actually really like the disciple of how do I say her name?
Elindred.
Elindred with the grenade is really cool. That is actually a lot of fun. I did forget about the bird, and those things are mostly fun. So
curse your opponent on one of their guys to reroll all their 6s. That's hilarious.
Right? Exactly. Like there's some cool abilities. Those abilities go between fun and unfun for me. So it's like. Mm-hmm. I think I'm accepting of the F tier if they get it, even though I would put them in B myself.
I like Aidan's argument.
Exactly. I get it. I understand.
Hand of the Archon enjoyers.
It almost swayed me.
Oh, okay.
Exaction Squad is up next. Does anyone want to start with this team? I have thoughts.
Take us away.
I think they had.
I have.
Oh yeah, go for it. Go for it.
I have played against Exaction Squad exactly one time. I've seen them played many times, and in fact, every single time I've seen outside of Alexander Popov being taken to an event, I have seen the players not have fun last edition and this edition because they are not that good. They're a 50-50 team. You're going to win 50% of your games. You're going to lose 50% of your games. You're going to be upset. But I will say that every time Alex was like, I'm going to move this token over here for this and this and this and this and this, and this guy's going to get this buff and this buff and this buff and this buff, and now I'm going to shoot your Space Marine and I'm going to do nothing. I felt for him. And also, every time that he would tell me stuff, I was like, my eyes would glaze over and I was like, just do it because I don't care. Like you are saying stuff to me right now. I don't care what's going on. Shoot my model. You don't need to explain it to me. I know we're streaming and you're telling the stream team, just shoot him, because I don't understand what's going on. I'm going to say that they probably deserve to be in C tier just because, they're so complicated this edition. They're really cool. I own 30 of the models. I love the models, but I will never play this team. I don't think.
On paper, every time I read them, since you did give me a few of your extra models in addition to your 30, because you have so many, I was reading the rules when you gave me that a while back, and it's like on paper, everything seems so much fun. And then you see it in practice and you're like, it's not as fun as I thought it was, but Cybermastiff and Leash Master.
Is awesome.
Crazy.
And Leash
August
Master.
is awesome.
Yeah, that's a fun
combo move they can do.
Sick combo.
Very
Honestly,
You think it's awesome just to tie up a Space Marine in close combat with your shield, and you're like, yeah, this is really cool. But the Space Marine player's like, why can't I fucking kill this guy? I'm not having fun. You're not having fun because you're playing Exaction Squad.
Exactly.
And you can't move, I've killed everything else. I just can't kill this guy.
Right. We're just stuck in combat for the rest of the game. And that actually did happen against an opponent of mine, and we were stuck just doing this the whole game. So it's a C for me. I think that the Arbites could be better. It could become cooler, but it's just not there right now with the current rules.
How about you, Aidan?
I'll concur. I say C. C seems fine. I think they're probably more fun in Inquisition. Sadly,
which is
probably a lot more fun in Inquisition.
That's going to be a problem, and you'll see it soon.
I'm sure we'll get to Inquisition shortly.
Yeah. Next up, we have Salvagers. If anyone doesn't know, Salvagers, the number one Salvager player is the guy right over here.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
Did you get dethroned?
Number one, there are many people who are competitively above
not
me.
Not competitively. I'm saying like you've just
the enjoyer.
all of your models. You're like, I'm going to make this Rekka crew.
Yeah, the Rekka crew one was awesome.
I'm gonna make 3 different Salvager teams.
I got a lot of thoughts on Rekka crew. I do have thoughts on Hearthkin Salvagers as well.
Okay,
positive and negative. I think I would put them in B tier. I think they're super fun to play as once you figure out how. I think there's a lot of buffs to stack, and there's a lot of ways to mess up the team by taking the wrong models and taking the wrong guns, and they have a huge roster. Like, it's like 15 models. All the models are good. You will need some of the models in different matchups. They're really good into Marines. They struggle into like horde teams because you don't want to trade a Hearthkin 1-for-1, and your like mechanic isn't as good. And they got a huge feels bad in a guy that can just whip across the board and dome a Space Marine. Turning Point 1, which isn't as crazy now that they've toned down the Writ of Claim, which they had to do. I think it makes the team a lot more fun to play against now that you don't just have your opponent say, all right, well, I got +5 to the initiative roll, so good luck, buddy. But I put them in B tier. I think they're super fun to play as. They take a bit of finagling, and I don't think they're that unfun to play against, but it is not particularly enjoyable having played against them against a lot of teams for your opponent to have to constantly measure out like 15 inches from your jetpack guy, knowing that he could just whip through a wall and hurl like a crack grenade on 3s that has like 2 to 3 auto crits on a guy. Well, that's not very fun to play against. It's not fun to measure that out constantly. So I'd say B.
I'm not going to lie. Every Salvager player I've ever played is an absolute gem of a human being. I've really enjoyed. I know not all of them are, because I know a couple ding dongs, right? But I've never played against those ding dong Salvager players. I have played against amazing Salvager players and had a great time playing every single time, mainly because I love killing them in hand axes. It's a lot of fun.
The hand axes,
it's a lot of fun.
real easily. They hit you for 5 on the way out, but they do die.
Yeah,
Plasma knives are cool.
Plasma knives are very cool.
But I think they have a really fun play style to like play into and play against. I've really enjoyed playing against them. I know that I meme on them a lot and I put them low, you know, on a lot of our tier lists. But this one, I say, I mean, I would capitulate to Aidan and put them in B tier because he probably knows the team best. But I would originally say F tier as well.
Yeah, you know, F is being very very generous, but I think you're right. B is probably closer to the correct thing. Like grudge tokens are cool.
Sick.
They're pretty sick, and you absolutely can one shot a Marine. And there's times you absolutely don't. And you know, you're right. There is
very
that.
solid of the pack, middle kill team. Mm-hmm. If you take the team, you're going to have a lot of fun. Your opponent's going to have a lot of fun. They're not going to have the most fun, but they are going to have a lot of fun.
He's got my favorite model in Kill Team too, the Dozer. That dude is just
that is one of the coolest moves you could do.
The most fun model to play.
You punch him
the
and
amount
you go
of
forward.
Tomfoolery you can get up to with that action is crazy. It's like the ventriloquar ability, but just better. You can punch guys through doors. You can just all sorts of stuff. You can get like 4 damage in right off the bat. You can punch a squig out of a door, and then the squig blows up outside the door and doesn't kill anyone. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's incredible. It's a great model.
So Felgor's up next. I think Felgor probably belongs in D tier just because they're so not fun to play against. I think playing as them, you definitely. I think they're fun to play as, right? Mm-hmm. But there's so many people that I know in the community that are like, I want to quit Kill Team because Felgor exists.
and I want to make a note that I think that those feelings come from the people who know how to play the team. So they know how to not die and when to make frenzy go off without it really hurting them. Because I played against a few people who are relatively new and own the team. Body them because they don't quite know how to really hide themselves and you know when to actually make a good frenzy trade, and it's just like it's not a problem. It's super easy to beat them, but those who are really good really make it unfun for a lot of people, and they're not trying to. It's just the team is inherently strong.
Yeah, they have an inherent nope mechanic with their models. They're like, you're dead. No, I'm not. You know, oh, I want to kill your model. No, I have a shield. I have the bong, bing bong, right?
Mm-hmm. Thank God he doesn't have Seek
all my
anymore.
Models.
That was crazy.
The shaman guy?
You put him with the ammo cache?
Oh, it's rough.
Yeah. So for me, I think the team is probably D tier, even though they are a lot of fun to play. I know a lot of people that really enjoy them. And what do you think, Aidan?
I haven't played as this team this edition, but I played them last edition, and they were super fun to play. But you did feel terrible when you put your models down. I think if you're running them at like the tippy top tables of an event, that's fantastic.
Hey, you played a doubles event with Alexander Popov.
Yeah.
He played Felgor. He was on your team.
And it was mean because we played, for some context, we played Felgor and Hearthkin Salvagers. So the Felgor's only job was just to gunk up the Sea's ground objectives and not die. And then as soon as, you know, one of them finally died, the Hearthkin would just nuke that model off the face of the earth. And that was really fun. So I think it was really fun to play as. I do not think they're fun to play against. And it's also a team that you always have to keep in mind when you're going to a tournament. Like how am I going to deal with Felgor? And it's not like how am I going to deal with like an elf team or like a marine team. It's like this one specific team. How are my models that can't shoot twice and have mediocre melee going to kill 10 guys that are just going to curb stomp me in melee and then not die afterwards? I could see D. I could see C tier as well because they're super fun to play as.
I could see C as well.
And all the Felgor enjoyers who like their aggro melee teams love just sending it up the board with these guys. Yeah.
I think I'd have to say C, because I like Goatmen. I think they're awesome. Beasts of Chaos in Fantasy was an awesome army. Yeah, I think they're in C, because you're going to have mechanics if you play them that like you won't immediately die. So that's always a nice thing.
C.
But yeah, it's one of those like it kind of has that stigma. If we gotta
drop anyone,
it would probably be them.
They're going down. Yeah,
I feel that.
Just very fun to play as, for sure.
Now we come up to Beta Decimus season. This season dropped part of last year and I guess the year before, right? So very exciting, very good teams here. I think that the mechanics are typically only getting better.
They cut loose with these ones.
They're starting to cut loose here. The design team from Games Workshop. You guys, let's start off with Mandrakes. Mandrakes, we got a lot of. I think I got told that I needed to touch grass the last time I put them in S tier. So I would love to put them in S tier again. But you guys can deny me from how much fun they are to play against. I've never not had a fun time playing against Mandrakes. I could see people not enjoying their shooting, like the fact that the shooting is backwards, but the fact that these guys teleport, they hide in the shadows, their fluff and their flavor are really there. I think that they're a really fun kill team to play as, and I don't particularly see that they're not a fun kill team to play against. What do you guys think?
F.
Okay. Cooking. I think I would say F is fair. I think there's some very annoying things this team does, but I don't think anyone
dash in between rounds.
Just flipping your saves is very obnoxious as well, but that's kind of just
it's
how
obnoxious, but is it not fun?
That's so
yes.
fun.
Sometimes you got to roll dice. You're like
game without being like that was an incredibly memorable game. Like the stuff that occurs. They also once you close the distance, it's over. The Mandrakes they're done. They got the guy who like screams at you and denies you.
They do have a denial.
That is a little annoying to play against, but you simply kill that guy, and then you don't have to deal with him again. You just blast him. They got a comms guy who has to kill your guys. You just kill that guy first. Move on. I could see
their leaders. Their leader's
pretty
pretty annoying, but he's not nearly as annoying as the Volcus leaders.
Okay.
He used to be annoying comparatively.
In second edition.
Yeah, he's not that obnoxious.
With his,
they got a lot of annoying things. I personally think I'd put him in B tier, but you guys have convinced me to put him in.
I'm pushing him in F, man. You have one of the most interesting mechanics, in my opinion, which is just like hiding in the shadow, like in shadow, like under advantage or on a piece of heavy where they can't see you. Like, and then you can just appear anywhere. So with the team, when you play them, there's a level of earning some of your abilities. Like you mentioned with getting the APL, you have to kill somebody. You have to earn that. You don't just get it. Like, yeah, you have these guys that do crazy combos, and yeah, your shooting is a little wonky, but if I'm not killing you, I'm not getting my stuff. So the earned abilities to do that is what makes it fun, right? Mechanically interesting also. So it's there's nothing like them at all. They're the most unique in this tier, I think. In my opinion.
That's fair. Moving on to Nemesis Claw. Nemesis Claw is an amazing team. They're a lot of fun. You just sprint up the board. You hide everywhere. I think I put them in S tier. Super scary. S for scary. For fun. Super fun. That's where I put these guys. I think they're a lot of fun. I've seen people play them and have a blast. There's a typical Space Marine team in this edition. I don't think they were that fun last edition, but I definitely think that they're definitely in a great design space right now. What do you guys think?
Aidan, you could start off.
I think slap them in S. I think it's a great team. I think it's one box. You just whip out your 10 guys. You run them up the board. They're not particularly hard to kill. If you can shoot them, you can shoot them. If you have a way to ignore obscuring, you're having a great time playing against them. Your opponent is not, but
they have one annoying thing. They can force your people to move.
They can
and
do
then
that.
Blast you. I've seen that.
That is quite obnoxious.
I've
they
seen
also
that
can Vox
used.
stream you as well.
Mhm.
Which is
They do.
You just remember those two things, and if you're playing a nice opponent or any reasonable opponent, they will remind you of those two things. You just keep them in mind. They also have a sick faction ploy that lets them re-roll a bunch of dice against only Imperium teams.
Imperium,
I want more of that.
especially if they're Space Marines.
They better have the flip of that for a Death Watch team if they drop that. That's only
For Xenos teams?
non-Imperium or Canis. Yes, exactly.
Non-Imperium,
Great
non-Chaos.
Yeah.
I think I convinced myself to put them in F tier just because they have some denial stuff. I've seen them used rather toxically if you don't know that the team can force certain things and do certain things, like they can be pretty gruesome. They did get a cheese nerf where players were using their from Death Darkness to advance 4
darkness.
inches and Return to Darkness into the dark and moving up 4 more inches so they could nuke people on turning point 1, open a door and throw their tox grenades. That got nerfed a little bit, but they still have a little bit more cheese in the team, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think I convinced myself to say F tier. What do you guys say? Final call for Nemclaw.
I think F is a good spot. They have enough interesting mechanics, like the Visionary's ability to do his psychic thing. It's a dice roll mechanic, so you might get a lot of Visionary points, or you might get nothing. Using the Ventriloquist to be like, you dash forward, you have 1 less AP, you flip to engage. Like suddenly all those tricks, and you only need 6 inches. You don't need line of sight, just 6 inches. Mm-hmm. So it's just like these moves are strong, and they're pretty honest for the most part. Like besides maybe the Vox Scream, as we mentioned, and Dirty Fighters being the one like real trick. Like if you have to try to one shot somebody before you go down, you could do that. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. Skin Thief is going to hit you in melee. Screecher's going to hit you in melee. The Meltagun's going to shoot you really close. Like, well, you might not take the Melta. Who knows? You take the Fearmonger or something else. Like the team has enough interesting things where even if it's not a whole lot, like you mentioned, it's a 1-box team because it is. You can build everything out of the 1 box.
Mm-hmm.
Minus certain changes. Like you can't build every leader, but whatever. It's a good team overall, but you're right. The few mechanics that are fun are also really annoying for your opponent, being like they don't like that stuff. So F, I think, is perfect. Elite teams are fun. I'm going to.
What do you think, Aidan?
I think that's perfectly fair.
Okay.
F for fair.
F for fair. F for fair.
A very fun team. A very fun team indeed. Next up is Blades of Cain. Who wants to take us off on Blades of Cain?
There's a lot going on there.
There's a lot going on with this team.
I think it can be fun. Like once you master how to use their stuff.
Funnest team.
Yeah.
It is the funnest team to play in the game. Period.
There's a lot of cool things you can combo.
They seem
off.
like a blast. Yeah.
I know Aidan has had some bad experiences against this team.
Shout out to Jason.
Huge shout out to the boy Jason. I have been smoked by Blades of Cain many a time, but it only takes one time when they catch you with an aspect technique before you're like, I will remember that next time.
Forever.
The first time you play against Blades of Cain, you will not have a fun time because there'll be a billion things going on. But maybe like the 3rd or 4th time, you'd be like, okay, I know what these guys do, and I just have to just kill them. They die pretty easily. You just walk within 2 inches and you shoot them, and you move on with your day. There's only 8 of them. They got a lot of APL and they plant a lot of beacons, but like, just go up and shoot them. Just blast them. I think it seems like a fun team. I'd say no lower than B.
I put them in S tier. They are one of the funnest teams to play, period.
That makes sense.
I have only played 3 teams this edition and absolutely had an amazing time playing them. Blades of Cain, the very first time I played them, I'm not going to lie, I had an awful time. The last time I played them against Giacomo's Casterkin was one of my most favorite games that I've played this edition.
They were good.
They were good. They were a lot of fun, and they were surprisingly good. And, I think that they have the ability to do whatever they want, and that makes them fun. They also have the ability, like they're not overpowered, like maybe in the hands of somebody who's like really good at the game, they're going to be really good, but you're not going to run into those people every day unless if they live in your town. Right. So, sorry, Aidan.
I think F is fair because they have a lot of like, oh, you were going S. I can't really make an argument for F. I think Because there's not really any mechanics that are super like pained.
I got one, and it's contempt.
Oh,
yeah, they have one gotcha.
It's one. They also have 18 abilities your opponent has to remember at all times, which is very
and
annoying
you have to remember 18 abilities.
You have to remember them as well, but you have the cards in front of you.
Yeah, I mean,
you have the team open on your app.
They are a difficult team.
Yes,
but I still think they're a very fun team.
I'd give them an S because their toolkit, even if it's just like a leader and the warrior, and that's the only real models you have, it's still fun enough because of the aspect techniques to kind of like pick an ability for them. It's like building blocks. And so you can kind of have the same loadout, but a different style each time. Because, depending on the archetypes you want to take too, like this helps you a lot to change. The one downside is you do have to buy 2 boxes. You got to buy your Banshees, and then you got to buy your Dire Avengers.
3 boxes, my guy.
Well, yeah, of course. Assuming that you just bought the Scorpions, right, and thinking that's all you needed, it's like no, you absolutely do need the other 2 boxes.
Put them.
I enjoy this team so much that I am considering this is one of my teams to bring to Nova, and just playing Mono Scorpions. That is on the table. It's on the table.
You don't want to learn the Banshees and your Dire Avenger tactics?
I like painting boobs, but not as much as I like striking Scorpions.
That's fair.
Nice.
Just saying.
Get them up there.
I'm fine with this.
Every person I've seen play Blades of Cain has had just the time of their life.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like, you could tell they really truly feel like they're like an elven mastermind with all their little
elven mastermind
tricks, and your opponent just standing there going like, just tell me when the tricks
are over. And then you just murmur to yourself, "Oh, Aldred has guided me well today."
Rolls 4 ones. Oh.
Yeah, and then
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Scout Squad is up next. I'm just going to make this a quick one on these guys. I'm going to put them in B tier. I think that they're relatively fun. They're fine.
Great.
Mechanics are cool. They're not unfun. They're a very, I think, solid team. They have gun ambush, which is kind of like their one thing, but yeah.
Shotguns are cool.
Went to a tournament last weekend where someone hit me with the reveal your tac op, and that was the most fun thing I've ever seen in my life. I forgot they could do that, and I was like, oh, looks like I won't be confirming any kills this game. And I did not.
At least not easy. Yeah, it's like, I'm going to make sure you never get them.
It was rough. It was a lie. It was a real struggle to get those Necrons to confirm those kills. Let me tell you what.
It's fair. That's fair.
Yep. Yeah. B tier is easy perfect where they be. Even if they got that 10th model, they'd still be in B for me.
Mm-hmm.
So they're solid enough to, if you got this and the Striking Scorpion box when it came out and you split it with a friend, both of you are going to have a great time.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Not back last edition, but this edition, you're having a good time.
Well, it was at the tail end.
True.
Yeah.
So Brood Bros is up next.
I'll start this one. Is there a tier below D?
Really?
Whoa.
Really? Holy balls.
Coming out swinging.
The level of unfun that these guys provide your opponents is astounding. And it's just through one guy, the Magus. The Magus gives you so many like immediately like, oh, what does these do? Oh, it's within an aura, right? No, it just happens when I'm on the field. Yeah. And I have a way to protect the Magus like every turn. Like it's just Crossfire is pretty decent. Like, and it replenishes itself. It's just like, this is a joke, right? Like
you've experienced true pain. The 2 guys a turn stunned across the board. Oh,
dude, all I can think about is the Patriarch, but I can see competitively people bring. Yeah, competitively people typically bring the Magus. The Patriarch's pretty good into certain matchups too. I can see why I was going to put them in F tier because I think they're pretty fun. But I also think they're the relentless, ruthless efficiency or whatever it's called, where they're like, hey, this guy doesn't actually see you, but he kind of does. Mm-hmm. So he's going to shoot you. I think that's also like a huge gotcha. The team is full of gotchas and stuns and grenades and bombs, and they're just gene stealers. And I'm a xenophobe, you know? I don't like the Tau. I don't like Brood Bros. If you want to put them in D tier, I'm not going to fight you. I will be right there with you. Bring them into Dakotah's realm, you know?
Yeah, I just think there is enough of the team that it's just not necessarily always fun to play against. Like, you can have an opponent who's like, all right, I'm not taking the Magus. I'm going to take the other shooting man, or I'm going to take the Patriarch, and that's a little more fun because now it's not as tough to deal with.
And then they're just going to ruthless efficiency get some kind of blast with their grenade launcher.
They can still do they can still do cool stuff. Like it's not impossible. They're not hitting the hardest, but it's just like the Magus really will sour like your mouth once you play against the Magus and have to try to deal with it. Like
unfortunately, they are a very competitive team right now. They are very good.
Very good.
They're not highly popular in California where we our base is. We don't get to see them that often.
I think if you bought them in the current version, not in the box set, which is the best value because you got all the heroes as well. In the current one, which is just the 10-man kill team of them, then it's okay because that leader is not nearly as strong and the crossfire isn't so punishing. So that's a little bit better, but realistically, you're gonna use the heroes, and they're just like, yeah. I'm trying to find things to defend them, but it's hard.
You're so impassioned.
It's hard.
I have to.
I'm trying.
They're the vet guard of this edition.
I don't like being like super negative about things, but this is hard to not be. I'm trying, Melty. I'm trying.
I had a great game against Melty.
But was he playing Brood Bros?
He was playing the Brood Bros. I was playing Rekkas, and let me tell you what, Rekkas do not.
Rekkas are just S tier, okay? We'll get to them, but they're just fun.
Rekkas did not enjoy playing against Brood Brothers, I'll tell you that. I got walloped very hard. Most of my team was stunned the entire game. There's nothing I could do about it. But it was still a very fun game. But gee, I will let the trauma of that game sway me to your side here.
All right. Nothing I can say. I'm not going to fight it.
And as always, I will always take a challenge to whatever tiers you want to play. If you want to play the most brutal team, I will still play against it. Remember,
if you guys are playing a team in the D tier team, you guys got to have a personality of gold. You got to make sure your opponents are still having fun because no one wants to play against. Still can't believe Felgor's not in D tier. Okay.
It was me.
Yeah, it was you, G. It was you. So we have Jaegers up next.
I'll be honest, I don't really know too much about them. I played against them once, and they were kind of fun.
I have never played as or against this team, but I'm taking them to LVO. So maybe we'll have fun with them at some point. But I know nothing about this team.
Fair. I've played against this team last edition. I thought they were going to be amazing this edition when I first saw the rules, when we were, looking at the rules and stuff like that. And it turns out that they're really, really bad, apparently, right? And we didn't understand that they were really elites would kind of run this edition, and the Jaegers are kind of still struggling into that. There are some really hardcore Jaeger fans out there, so I'm not going to. I don't think that they're going to drop below B tier for me. I had fun playing against them, but the person I was playing is an absolute legend. He's one of the Canadian twins, if anyone knows who they are. I had a blast, and that taints me into thinking that this team is just a lot of fun to play against.
I do like that it's a one box. So from a purchasing perspective, you're like, oh, sweet. I only need the one for the most part. Give them shotguns, guys. Shotguns are rad. And I like that their only real heavy weapon is just the one missile dude and the sniper, and that's it. It's like, all right, cool. It's not hard to make a decision. So that gives it some points for simplicity. The minefield guide is a pretty fun mechanic where it's like, here's a mine, here's a mine, here's a mine. Gambling is fun. I don't condone gambling, and we do not condone gambling here at Squad Games, but gambling is fun.
You could, if you go crazy, if you're playing against a great opponent, they'll shuffle those mines themselves and put them down. They won't even know.
It's just
I think I might do that every game at LVO. I think
it's really fun. Like that is one of the fun mechanics.
So good.
I want to say they had a super conceal. I can't remember. It's been such a long time since I played them.
I know they used to. I don't know if they do anymore.
So that was I've never really liked.
They have a
super
pregame
conceals.
dash that's really good. They got some other. They have some other cool stuff.
You know what?
A lot of silent as well.
What's the pistol man called?
Oh, the guy who shoots at the bombast.
He's the lugger
bombast
of the team.
Yeah, the bombast is actually really
Bombast
awesome.
is awesome. Yeah, super cool model.
Super fun team.
I want to give him an F, but I don't know them enough to say that, so I have to go with B.
I'll agree. I want to give him an F too, but again, I've never played as or against this team. Jaeger enjoyers, come get me.
Let us know in the comments.
Let us know if we got this one wrong. We very well could have, and I'm definitely going to say, it's very much possible. Chaos Cults is up next. This was the boogeyman of the last edition. They were not fun to play against. If you played them, people would look at you sideways. They would curse you in their sleep. They'd think about the game before they went to sleep, and they would just hate you for no other reason than you played this team. That team is not the same as last edition. If somebody's playing Chaos Cults, I don't automatically just despise them as a human being. But that's just me as a person. Maybe you still do. I definitely think the team is really fun. This was a team that I was considering a while ago converting into like some crazy Imperial faction and bringing them to, because I think they're rather competitive. But then I was like, no, I'm going to go have fun and I want to do a real nice paint job. So I'm not going to take this team to Nova, but it was on the list of possibilities. What do you guys think?
I got a strong opinion on this team.
Give it to us.
I think put them in S. I think this team is fun to play as. You get a bunch of dudes. You get to transform your guys.
You're not wrong.
All of the mechanic. the sword guys are super cool. The like Mind Witch is super cool. The giant icon with the flamer is super cool. You buff up all your dudes. You get rewarded for killing a guy with like a little 7-wound jabroni, which is like a great fun mechanic. And I think to play against, I played against like a decent bit. And even when you lose a game, you still have a blast, because when you take one of those torments down, or if you kill a mutant early, it feels great. It feels like you're fighting like a zombie level of a video game. I think it makes for a very fun matchup. But I can see how people would not enjoy it. But the hooks aren't like crazy hard to kill ish. And they will tear you up if they get into melee, but you just don't let them get into melee, or you let them and then you die. And that's fun too, to see your guy get eaten by a giant mutant man. It's fun.
They're funner to play against the Goremongers.
I was gonna say probably B for myself, but I could see them pushing to F, because it is fun to like, all right, this guy's gonna get sacrificed and transform. And it is a cool mechanic. Like, that is fun.
It's a very cool mechanic. I would put them, I think I'll put them in F tier. I don't know if they're super fun, for everyone, because I'm sure people still think about this team sideways. But I definitely put them in F tier. This seems like a very fun team.
That's a great use of the comms device, and any team that makes good use of the comms device gets a bump up in my book. I love the comms device.
It's fair. That is the wrong thing, Dakotah. There we go.
We're about to come to a really, really fun team.
Oh boy,
Giacomo, you have the biggest bone to pick with this team. Start us off.
All right, my bone to pick with Inquisition. It's not that they're inherently super unfun. It's what they do to three other teams that makes them unfun. 4 other teams. They're significantly better when you play them as Inquisition. And that's not a fun mechanic, in my opinion, right? They should have had their own unique things, like just give them the Scions, give them a Death Watch model, give them the Sisters. That should have been it. That should have been all they could take. Model. Right? That would have been cool. Like Inquisition taking that. I don't necessarily love that they go like, here, we're going to take the Breachers and make them better. We're taking Kasrkin and making them better. We're taking the Cops and making them better. We're taking Guardsmen and making them better. It's just like, well, that sucks for everyone else. Like Dakotah and I, when we went to the team event in Vegas, we had that discussion. It's like, oh, you should just play Inquisition. And it's like, well, that's not fun. I wanted to play
Because if you would have played Inquisition, you just would have had another model.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have had skillet arms. I would have had all these different things. And It's just one of those like, well, that sucks, right? It's like when I used to be like in 40K, oh, but Tyranids got a whole thing. They got Gene Stealer Cult. And then I ultimately came to the realization it's not Tyranids. It's Gene Stealer Cult. And this is the same thing. It's just like, yeah, it's not Kasrkin. It's not Vet Guard. it's Inquisition. And that's not as fun to me personally. And then now mechanic wise, they have some mechanics that are actually like, oh, this is annoying to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Yes. So I think I would put these guys into D. They're not necessarily
the
fun
fact
to play
that
against.
one of us hate Inquisitions this much, already speaks bounds. Aidan, what about you? What do you think about Inquisition?
I think every point G has raised is fair. I am not an Imperium enjoyer. I'm mostly a Xenos enjoyer, so I will never play Inquisition. I will also probably never play any of the teams that are on the Inquisition roster because none of them interest me. So it sucks to suck, I guess. But I do understand how frustrating it is to have that like just where you're playing the team out of the box and it's not optimal because you're supposed to buy another box and play them with a whole different set of mechanics, and all of a sudden all your team's mechanics are balanced around the fact that they can't buff the individual models because then Inquisition just gets better, which is annoying. I will also say
they also have the biggest nope in the game.
How sometimes if you've ever baited the nope for the wrong ploy, that is one of the most fun times of having an opponent when you're like, I wasn't going to use that ploy anyway.
Gotcha, mofo.
Gotcha. Yeah, where they pick a ploy that really annoys them, but you're like, that's not the best ploy I have. I got a ploy that's going to score me a bunch of points this turn, and you picked the wrong one, and now you can't do it on the ploy that I need next turn that I use this turn again. I don't know if I put him in D tier, but I'd probably say C at the highest. I think playing as them, I got a buddy who plays them, and he loves playing the team because they're really thematic. You feel like the Inquisitor commanding his little goons around.
But you're not the Inquisitor. You're not. There is no Inquisitor.
You are the Inquisitor.
Shut up. There's a dude holding the fucking book. Okay, he's just holding the book. I don't want to be the Inquisitor. I want to play the Inquisitor. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't care if
agent.
I'm not the. What am I going to come to? Am I going to come cosplay with the hat, the hood, and be like, oh, the Inquisitor, the Emperor's watching you, you stinking Xenos filth.
I'm putting this guy at ABTT who did exactly that, and when he used the deny ploy, he put the hat on just to get me, and it was incredible.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I would probably put them in C/D tier.
Okay.
Just because I probably put them at the top of D tier, just because I think that they are just innately not fun to play against. But they are fun to play, but they are very difficult to play. So you're not going to win a lot. But when you do win,
I think they're moving to C then. I think we're going to go there. One thing that could be fun is if you were allowed to pick one of the legendary Inquisitors from 40K, because they're all just individual leaders. So like, oh, that'd be cool. And then, like you have the one chick who has the pistol from the Elder. So like you're really good against Xenos. You have that one, the baby carriage man. Like
I'm just playing Eisenhorn. I would put this team in S tier.
Eisenhorn. That would have been
if I could. That'd be cool. If I could play Eisenhorn in Kill Team, I would just put that team in S tier automatically.
Honestly, great.
That's all I want to do. I just want to live a power fantasy.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do.
That's what makes the power fantasies are fun. We love Gears of War. So power fantasy is hell.
So next up we have Battleclade. Battleclade, this model was beautifully painted by you, Giacomo, and was featured on Warhammer Community.
Yes.
Beautiful white, beautiful scheme. You can see the red popping off the background. If you guys are watching the YouTube video, you can see it. If you can't, I'm explaining it for our wonderful podcast listeners.
Check it out on the
Giacomo,
Instagram.
You've played this team only once.
I have.
What did you think about this team?
Honestly, so much fun. Holy shit, so much fun.
Ooh, okay.
That was my curse word of the day. That's so much fun.
It's good to hear.
The mechanic, don't get me wrong, that there's a lot going on, and that can be a little overwhelming because I was trying to I remember reading these guys 4 different times and still forgetting things. And in game, I was like, well, what does this do? And I was forgetting things. There's a lot going on. But the network counteract, so much fun. So much fun.
I really didn't like the network counteract. You're like, I'm going to move this guy here. I was like, haha, you can't do anything. And you're like, oh, no, I'm going to melt to him. I'm like,
right. Never counteract. Now he's going to get to shoot. And he's going to get to shoot again later because he didn't do this.
Super fucked.
Yeah, it was like, well, not in that order. You can't do it in that order. But these little tricks and using, I didn't use remote access, but I could see how fun it is to just run up and go remote access that objective marker and like get it away from far. Like these little tricks. So much fun to like check out what I can do, you know, like
I think Aidan would really enjoy this team.
I think so. I think so. And what I mentioned with AdMech earlier, where there's all these like decisions you do to take apart and put the gears, this is that at the next level. And I think it's even more fun. So I personally think this is an F thing. And here's the fun thing though. In the box it comes in, for those who are astute and know where it comes from, there's a more fun team, but both teams are fun.
So you're not going to put them in super fun, just fun?
I think just fun for me.
Okay. How about you, Aidan? You haven't played this team yet?
I haven't played against them. I know for a fact I will be playing a lot against this team because I have two Mechanicus heads, two Mechanicus lovers on my team, the Cellar Dwellers, who will instantly be picking this up. So I will play against this team a lot, I would imagine, and it looks sick. It looks super awesome. I'm not really a Mechanicus guy, so it's tempting because they're a 5-inch move team, and I love a 5-inch move team. That I'd have to make them Dark Mechanicus. I couldn't do normal. Mechanicus. I think F is perfectly solid. They look so much fun to play.
We got to sell Aidan, and the only way to sell it is they love the comms device. They love the comms device.
Oh my S, baby. Put them in S.
It's like the comms device is so useful with them.
Well, they actually have a rule that references it.
Yeah, exactly. And then like,
hey,
it's so good with the aura. Like it's
they can't go lower than F.
You can't go lower than F. So much fun
with the comms device. Oh my god.
And I really feel competitive players who like know what they're doing.
They're gonna demolish.
They're gonna take this. They're gonna take this one.
They're gonna struggle a bit, but they will do it.
I'm no Alex Squires, you know, but like it's a good team.
So next up we have Raveners.
Oh, this one was wonderfully painted by someone in this room.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, and also featured in Warhammer community.
Mm-hmm. Raveners was probably one of the most fun teams that I've played. They're very, very fun. You can do practically anything. You feel invincible. You know, I'm sure that it's not like that every game, but hey, you know, if you lose, you're going to lose hard and the game's over. If you're going to win, you're just going to annihilate everything with 5 models and like you're going to get doubles and triple kills and that kind of stuff. I think the team's a lot of fun. I'm going to put them, I say they're an S tier. I think the tunnel mechanic's a little weird, but it's not bad. You know, it's just weird. It's not something we've ever seen anything before, you know? So I definitely put them, I believe, in S tier for me.
I'm totally in agreement. This is the box I was referencing, or the team I was referencing in the box. It's more fun.
Giacomo, you were having fun with me just watching.
Just watching. It's because the mechanics all really, really want you to be like, hey, that tunnel's really important. And honestly, it's so much fun when you get to use the tunnel, like just burrowing in and out.
You didn't even let me use the tunnel, and I was able to like run around and do like be like, you know, like be a dinosaur, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like you're gonna be 5 monsters in Kill Team. You know, we had 4 with Killerpox. Now you have 5. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an S tier for me.
Aidan, I'm sorry, you've been outvoted.
I was going to say put it in S anyway. This team looks awesome.
And it's the first Tyranid team.
Yeah, all the Tyranid enjoyers. The Wormblade Brew Brothers, they do not count. All the Tyranid enjoyers are loving it. They used to have to proxy some Gellerpox. Now they just got the whole team. I think it's an awesome team. The rules are sick. 5 models is hilarious to have to work around. The kill op, you just kill one, you get a point for your opponent. It's beautiful. You just kill one, you get a point. It's just that easy. It's easy S.
Next up is Sanctifiers, and I'm not going to lie, I've played this team a lot. They are an S team for yourself. They are so much fun to play. There's so much things to do. In fact, if you're not playing on a clock, you take up like 75% of the game time just because you're moving everyone twice. The team is so much fun for you to play, not very much fun for your opponents to play against, with Blaze and all their other mechanics. I think that drops him down to an F tier for me, but I'm sure you guys are going to get him even worse. Worse than that.
In the few games I've seen them played, usually one opponent, or like, well, not usually, the other side is like, and you just feel the despair in their eyes. Let me activate a guy, take D3 damage. Cool, pass turn. Oh,
yeah.
I'm going to hit your leader. No, you're not.
I don't have a soul anymore, Giacomo. Like this is the team. This is the team.
Mechanically, they're very fun, and I think I got to give them a B tier for that. They're in the middle of the road for me.
Okay, all right.
I think a B tier is fair. I've only played against this team once, and I was playing Higher Tech Circle, so okay, there's a lot going on there. But I think a B tier is fair because you just try your best to kill him. Your opponent does take, as Dakotah said, 75% of the time, especially if you have a death mark on guard the entire time, and then they take about 90% of the time, and it's not even their fault because they have to check after every move if you could shoot them. I think B is totally fine just because it is so much fun for you to play as. And and shout out to Jason here, if you get to kill that baby, man, that is fun. He got like 2 consecutive back-to-back baby kills with the rattling dog, which is insane.
Amazing.
Yeah, super good. I mean, you kill the baby, you feel a little bad about it, but like, you got the baby.
It was already dead.
Fair. That's fair. So Goremongers are up next.
Ooh, blood for the blood god, skull for the skull thrones. Oh my god. You guys go first.
This team seems like a lot of fun to play.
Everyone's playing them. They're always having a blast. All the elf enjoyers just play this team that's like an elf, but it doesn't die. I mean, what more could you enjoy?
Yeah, I don't think it's like terribly fun to play against, but it doesn't. Miserable. But it's not the worst team to play against, So I definitely.
I think it's a team that's heavily skewed on what team your opponent is playing based on how much fun they'll have. Like a Marine team, you will have a great time playing against these guys. I think because they can get into you and they can do a lot of damage to your Marines. But you have a lot of ways to get around that. You could shoot twice. You could charge, fight, shoot, fight, charge to get them. They're going to be on engage a lot of the time. You can make it so that they can't heal in between all of their actions. But having played into this team a few times as, again, Higher Tech Circle, it's miserable. It's horrendous for Higher Tech Circle. There's just like nothing you can do. After you shoot one, they're like, just going to heal to full. And there's nothing you can do about that. Which I guess is a taste of Higher Tech's own medicine, but it's fair, I guess.
What do you think, G?
I think I wanted to put him in S, but I know that because of those skews, there's some people who are just inherently not going to have a good time. Elite players, not a problem. They're going to figure it out. Felgor players, not a problem. They'll figure it out. Most other teams,
Felgor players are going to get stomped by that team.
Yeah, probably. But still, they can each dish it out. But I think
matchup though, like that's just a very fun game.
It's just a fun game. It's just like melee. It's like a bloodbath,
Yes,
you're not wrong.
It's just so cool and. Like originally I liked the team just because they looked cool, but I wasn't interested in them. And then I got to play them and I was like, oh no, they're fun. The Sangovite mechanic of just like, here, let me do this ability. And I was doing
a lot like Blades of Cain.
They're Blades of Cain, Void Dancer. They take the best of all worlds.
They move
including
quick,
Corn, and then they just kill everything.
They have the Hookman.
I don't think they go below F.
Well, they don't go below alone, I think puts him in F for me. That guy is among anything that moves your opponent's model.
Right.
Is just so funny. Love that guy.
Yeah. They're
I think F is fair.
I think F is where it is at. And it's a little difficult, but yeah, I mean,
next up we have Rattlings. Rattlings is this model was painted by Saya from Tabletop Mayhem. This is Rosie the dog.
Yeah.
Absolute legend of a model. If you don't like dogs, you shouldn't watch this channel. We love dogs here.
Love dogs.
So, Rattlings are a lot of fun to play. They're a lot of fun to hobby. But I wouldn't say they're like the most fun. I'd put them in a solid B for me. I think that they're very fun to play. They're very fun to play again. Well, I guess that maybe that puts them in F. you can run around and just murder all these little halflings. That's fun too.
So
yes,
here's my.
It's also very fun to shoot the ogrins as well.
That too.
It is, but here's my one
Fun to
counterpoint.
shoot that dog.
When you play against them, if they're not positioning their ogrins right, and if they don't have their the big shot and the dog placed in the correct spots, there's no pushing back. The second you kill those ogrins, it's really hard for them to push forward anymore because everything you do kills them. Yep. So those ogrins are vital. And if you lose them early, it feels bad. When I play against my buddy, every time I see the thing, I just think to myself, how am I killing that ogrin? How am I going to do it in a turn? Because that's what I have to do to win. Because he's not going to push up anymore. I'm going to take the strongholds. I'm going to take the center of the boards in Gallo Dark. I got it. So as long as I can deal with the ogrins, right? So if that's one of the things, and it's just like if you lose them, it's hard to push back. So I think they're a B for me.
Okay, Aidan, where are you putting them?
I would argue F personally. I think this
Sorry,
team
Giacomo.
That's all right.
I think this team is awesome, and I think it also comes down to building the obstacle course. I think setting up the obstacle course is hilarious. I think your opponent having to figure out the obstacle course. Every time I've played against them, having the obstacle course get set up against me, I'm like, oh, okay, we're playing a different game now. This Volca's map is twice as dense now. And I just have to really figure out how I'm going to get over the tripwires. And sometimes just light barricades put down to be annoying. Mm-hmm. And sometimes an extra portable barricade also just to be annoying with the razor wire. The mines, sometimes they take 2 mines or crazy. I think it's an F. I think it's a very fun team.
Fair.
I always have a good time playing against Ratlings.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with those things.
So Wreck-A Crew's up next. We've talked about them earlier in the podcast.
Just straight to S.
Straight to S.
There's no problem with this team.
I've ever played. Straight to S.
You got to earn your mechanic,
if you haven't played Wreck-A Crew, first of all, what are you doing? Second of all, get the box.
It's so much fun.
Just make sure you build the guy with both rocket pistols.
I never do that, and I have a great time.
You don't even need it. See,
you don't even need it because the
rocket rack is again a 3-inch blast. Oh my god!
With the gravity thing,
the 3-inch blast is so good,
and they're fun to play against.
Yeah,
you can. If your opponent takes some things you don't like, you just blow it up. The look on your opponent's face, the sadness as you destroy their ladder or their ammo cache. And there's no reason for you to do it. You do it just to annoy them. Is so funny.
And the missile hammer, here we go. Boo.
When he lives through his own missile, it's beautiful. They heal. They're super tanky. If you haven't played the team, you got to play the team.
They're so much
it's
fun.
so much fun.
And I think most people online say it's the proper orc team, even though I think commandos are also proper.
Agree.
I don't know why people say that, but I get it.
I would agree.
Yeah, they're both proper. They're both looking for proper scrap. Mm-hmm. So next up, we have Plague Marines. Ooh. Plague Marines, I think they're a lot of fun to play, but I don't think that they're fun to play against. For me, I've never enjoyed any of my games against Plague Marines. I enjoyed my games with the people, but the mechanics themselves, mostly the times that I've played against them, I was playing Deathcore. Right? It really sucks to get -1 to hit if you're in melee. It really sucks that they heal all the time. It really sucks that they get -1 to damage. It really sucks to fight against them just
to get poisoned.
To get poisoned for them back in the day to guard, kill fucking 5 models with 2 dudes. It was an absolute awful time. I don't think that I would put them above B. I think B is a really solid place for the team because they're very fun to play, but I don't think that they're I think they're really competitive. So since they're such a competitive team, you probably see a lot of competitive people taking them. And sometimes that can lead to more feels bads, with Plague Marines in particular. There's no good, you're playing Plague Marines. Okay, I'm in for a slog. This is not going to be an easy game. I'm going to have to fight tooth and nail every time. You know what I mean? It's that's what you're thinking when you're going into Plague Marines. I think Giacomo has a similar feeling.
Yeah, I'm in the boat of B tier. They have mechanics that are almost F, but it's just a little annoying enough for me personally when playing against them. You're like, okay. but I do like that you just have to get the starter box and that's it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You don't even got to customize them. He's just got the models.
It's true.
I put him in B. I would put him in F. I go back and forth. It's a
really?
B and F for
you
me.
complain about them all the time.
I do, but they're still fun.
All right. What about you, Aidan?
I would put him in S. I think this team is awesome. I don't think I've ever had a bad game against Plague Marines. I think if you're okay, I don't play a lot of melee teams, so I could see if you're playing a melee team, you're going to have a pretty bad time. I play mostly like 10-ish model shooting teams. And I can understand you'd have a bad time with a melee team, but as a 10-ish model shooting team, I love going into Plague Marines because I'm usually faster than them, and I just shoot them off the board before the heal guy can heal them up. I think they're very fun to play against. I think they're really slow, and they're pretty easy to anticipate where they're going to go. They don't have a ton of crazy gotchas. It's just that they're kind of a pain to kill for the most part. I'm outvoted, but I would put them in S. I think also to play as, everyone I've talked to about Plague Marines has just had so much fun playing as the team. Like,
yes, there are
so fun.
Tons of Plague Marine enjoyers.
Yeah, I guess I'd put him to F.
You guys suck.
You convinced me enough. You convinced me enough. I put him to F.
Let's go.
By the way, I don't think there's an elite team here who's going to be below B. All elite teams are fun.
Yeah. If it was up to me, Phobos would be below B. But,
I mean, hey, technically, I believe Hyrotech is an elite team, and they're in D, so I'm kind of wrong.
They deserve the D.
Astartes teams will not go below B.
Angels of Death. I mean, need we say any more?
Classic,
put him
man.
in S tier.
Put him in S tier.
Even the sniper,
100%.
He's a little annoying to deal with, but like if they're taking the sniper, they're not taking an assault marine. So you just ignore the sniper and don't get shot.
Oh, absolutely.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Super easy.
Very fun team. It's also
one of the coolest models in the game.
Mm-hmm.
The heavy gunner, also awesome.
Angels of Death is also the most popular faction played in Kill Team,
reason.
period.
Mm-hmm.
It goes Angels of Death, then Plague Marines, and then I think Legionary are the three most popular.
And for good reason.
Yeah. Next up, we have Aquilons, painted by a lovely Giacomo. Also, both of these next two models were featured on Warhammer Community. The Vespid painted by myself, Aquilons painted by Giacomo. Anytime we get featured or witnessed mead by Games Workshop, I like to give us both a little high five.
Thank you.
It's well deserved.
There we go. Aquilons, G, where you put them? F tier is filled up, my guy. You filled the last slot.
They're much like their brethren in elites of Kasserkin. They're in the B tier. They have an interesting mechanic, which is the little flight, like where they're going to drop in. The drop marker is cool. The changes to some of their ploys was nice, which gave them a little more legs, and that they just get the robot for free, which they should have had from the start, which actually I think they're above Kasserkin because of that. They have 11 activations out of 10, and they're pretty easy to play. They're fun to have like little flying troops come down. I remember a lot of people when they first saw the team was like, oh, so this is going to be like Elysian drop troops, right? And they thought they were going to get a comeback. Nah, it was the Scions. Tempester Scions, which you can, in theory, you could just take Kasserkin and put backpacks on it. You could take Cadians and put backpacks on it and call it a day for the most part. It's really not hard to kind of customize the team. And I think all those things give it a B because the rules aren't crazy overpowered. So you're going to be like, you're in a good spot. You'll have fun playing them. And your opponents won't feel too oppressed by them because they're not like, they don't have crazy oppression. They're also very honest, minus their first little trick in the beginning of the game where they're going to drop, but that's it.
All right. That's fair. I mean, I think that they're in B as well. That's why I moved them over. They seem very fair and balanced, and I think that you're going to have fun if you play them, and your opponents are also going to have fun. What about you, Aidan?
I'd like to put them one higher, but it's full. So
hold on. You want to dispute?
Do I want to dispute?
Yeah. What would you move down from F?
Oh man. Actually, I think I'd move Kroot up to S personally. But
really,
that's a hot take. I think Kroot are awesome. I think Kroot are not.
Okay.
They like change the game in a very fun way to play against with specifically poach. And even if they never use poach, you have to think about it. But we're not talking about crude. I think these guys are fine in B. I think the fact that their faction mechanic just disappears after turn 2 can kind of feel bad, because your opponent can just wait you out and then be like, all right, well, your whole team's on the board. I'm just going to blow you up now. Can feel a little rough, but I think B is totally fine.
It's fair. I've painted these Vespids. I'm gonna throw my shot out there. I'm gonna put them in B tier. I think that a lot of people enjoy playing them. I don't think that the team's like overly broken. People seem to have fun playing them and playing against them. I don't think that people are like rushing over themselves to like continue, like buy this team and play them. But yeah, I definitely put them into B tier for me.
They also got the bonus model, which is nice. Mm-hmm. Communion points kind of still isn't great.
They suck. Yeah, that's why they're not an F tier. That's why they're not an F tier.
They could be
cooler. Every
cooler.
game I've played against them, they have ended the game with like 5 communion points. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, like you just don't need these. What do you just don't need these?
That's the problem. You just don't need them.
It's a team that's on my radar. I would love to play this team at some point. They look like a very, very, very fun time. They got the flamethrower guy that just zips across the board and torches everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
cool
that's
mechanic.
Just too cool. I also like anything that puts a token that remains on the board. Like the guy who puts the neutron shard down with the blast is super cool. Yeah, very fun.
I feel
like the drone should be a comms, but that's neither here nor
there.
That's fair. I don't know what
I wish he was a comms.
Which is what the if they added that as a rule for communion points, like you still keep all the same communion rules, but also add like if you spend 2 or 3, this guy gets 1 extra APL or something. Yeah, something. Yeah. Just like I think that'd be a cool addition. Yeah, I think B is safe.
So if you guys are new to the Squad Games tier lists, we do add in a very fun special mechanic here at the end of the video. This is the hot take. So we each get 1 hot take if we so choose, and we can take any of these teams that we've already pre-put, and you're allowed to move them without argumentation. We might complain, like our last tier list. I think Alex Popov, shout out to Alex Popov, took the what's his name?
He took the
Exaction Squad him and put him in S tier, and then we got cooked alive for a while. And it was really funny because then you could tell like who watched the video
and who just looked at the thumbnail.
To the end. Very funny. But this is where we do our hot takes. So, who wants to go first? Who wants to do the first hot take of this?
I'll go first because mine's real easy. I actually don't really have a problem with the way it is right now. At most, just because I'm a hater, I'd move Inquisition to D, and that's it. Okay. And that's not even that big of a change. They're already at the edge.
Are you putting them at the bottom of D tier? Where are you putting them, G?
I think D tier in their own pit is already fighting for last place, so they can just fight it out.
All right,
fair.
Okay, Aidan, what are you putting in?
Put those crude up to S, baby.
Let's go.
Okay,
there we go.
I think when I go into a tournament, I mostly play against Crute in tournaments because I don't have like a local buddy who plays a ton of Crute. But when I play into them at tournaments, it is like the most like tactically intense game of the tournament. Win or lose, like I'm really thinking, and it really flips the way the game plays on its head. They have a lot of ways to be super reactive. You have to be super wary about the dog countercharging you, or the pistol guy shooting you beforehand, or just getting poached. I just have a fantastic time playing into them, and they seem like it once you got the bubbles moving around correctly, and you're like making all your kills, call the kills go off, and all your leaders' screeches go off. They just look like a ton of fun. It's one team I'd love to play at some point.
So I have 2 moves that I want to do, but I have to choose one. I'll say them both. Okay.
Okay.
And I kind of want to move Warp Coven down because I think that they're fun, right? But I think it is a just placement for them. I think it's just my bias. Okay. Pathfinders, I don't have to fight for. We agreed. There's a bunch of other teams. Like I could move Star Striders to D tier. That's not fun. That's not cool. I could move Breachers down. Like all these other teams. I was like, oh, D tier. But I have another one for the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
Sanctifiers to F tier. I'm not going to put them in S tier because I know they're not fun for people to play against. I know. But yeah, mine is I'm going to move Sanctifiers to F tier. We have a spot opened up, so we're going to put them over here.
I opened it for him.
Oh, you did.
You did.
It was worth it. It was worth it.
If you didn't do that, I was going to move them to S tier, just so you know.
Okay.
Even better.
All right.
So, I mean, I think this is a
solid list.
It's a solid list,
No controversial takes here at all. Everyone will agree.
Everyone's going to flame us, for no reason. I think we should put this on Reddit just to be like, hey, here's our new tier list. And then they'll just like attack us because they don't realize it's a for fun tier list.
I think you have to, because
it doesn't even say fun. It doesn't even say for fun on it. You can cut out the most fun part on the side there. And
it is. When I make the image, it'll just be this.
Perfect.
It'll just be this. No one will see any of this. Yeah.
So I think it's a good list. I had a lot of fun with this. And nothing really feels too out of place. Like from S to B, there's a majority of teams are in S to B, which means most of the teams in the game are fun to play, which is a good thing for a game.
Yeah, if you look at the majority of the teams that are not that fun to play are the older teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
typically, not all of them, but typically, which is a good thing. Me and Giacomo have been talking about this for a while. We've had a really fun time playing the brand new teams, getting these teams, painting them up, playing them on our battle reports. The brand new teams are really fun and really interesting. And the way that Kill Team is going with the rules direction is just an absolute blast. There hasn't been anything that we've really not liked thus far,
Yeah. Even Sanctifiers,
Yeah, those ding dongs.
And we get that the rules are rough, but they are fun.
They are. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of fun, just running up the board and just nuking people or doing other things with them. They're a ton of fun to play. Very fun.
You wouldn't consider maining them?
If I was if I wanted to go for a golden ticket, or I wanted to do well in the ITC, I would main Sanctifiers currently, and I would be going to as many events as I possibly could in order to show how cool I was, But, that is not my life, and I'd rather have fun and play with really pretty painted models. And, Sanctifiers are not they won't be my jam, because that is not the direction that Dakotah, as a content creator, wants to go.
Yes.
If I didn't have a YouTube channel, maybe I would. That's not where I will. Or an event organizer. The worst thing to do as an event organizer or as a content creator is to go to an event, play somebody, and then hate it. You've lost a fan. They're going to tell your friends that you're a dick, and they're not going to have fun. So it's just an awful time to do, right? If you're going to go to an event as an organizer, as a content creator, it's better to go and just have fun rather than trying to win the whole thing. So that, I don't want to have a bad reputation. I just want to go and have fun. This game I love. I want to share it with everyone. I want to have everyone, enjoy it just as much as I do. So, yeah.
Yeah. Tell us your takes, what you think about this in the comments. I think it's time for shoutouts.
I think so too. Shout out to our patrons. They let us keep doing this, right? We really appreciate you guys, and this is a lot of fun for us to do. So thank you, all the patrons. Thank you to Saya, Tabletop Mayhem. You have an amazing channel, and if you guys aren't subscribed already, make sure you go and do that. She makes hilarious videos and a lot of good shorts and stuff. And, check check out our brushes, our paint brushes that we have that we're bringing to market. If you guys want some really good paint brushes for, not Artis Opus prices, check us out. I'm not going to complain. Artis Opus are dope. If you want to go ham, I love Artis Opus brushes. They're an amazing company. So, how about you, G?
Well, you can join the conversation by hitting us up on Discord. We are the Squad Games Discord channel server. You can find us there. Tell us what you think about the teams that are the most fun to play, why you think D-tier teams are actually fun, why you have a question about line of sight or something. The community's pretty active. We're good about answering questions. We've got a lot of people on there, so you can hang out and check us out there. You can find out about our latest events there too, or by checking out squad-games.net to see what's coming up. Like we mentioned earlier, we have the Midsummer Mayhem. That's also our anniversary event. That's the August 9th and August 10th here in Santa Clarita, California. You can get your tickets in the description or by checking out the website. And you can find us on YouTube. If you're already watching this on YouTube and you stumbled across us, consider subscribing, consider hitting us a like, consider commenting. It helps us out a lot. And we get to bring more of this stuff to you guys, the greater community and Kill Team. Yeah, that's my stuff.
How about you, Aidan?
I just give the shout out to Alex Popov. We love him.
That's the 28th one.
And I'll give a shout out to my team, my boys, the Cellar Dwellers. Even if we're not playing one of the teams that ranked high on the fun tier list, you will have a fun game playing against us. And if you didn't, tell me. I'll give them a talking to.
Dang.
No, you'll still have a fun team. You'll have a fun game.
Hell yeah. Also, shout out to our patrons. They are currently watching this live. We do that for our patrons. That is one of their benefits and buffs that they get to watch this podcast live. So, until next time, everyone, I think we're going to head out. It's been a long episode. Thank you, Aidan, for hanging in there with us. And thank you to your wife for letting you stick around this long,
I'll tell her thanks.
Yeah, that's the real shout out,
That's a huge shout out. Yeah, shout out to my wife who's in the other room.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Until
next time, everyone, check out our battle reports. Until next time.
See ya. The Squad Games Podcast is a production of Squad Games Entertainment. For more information on Squad Games, please visit our website at squadgames.net or check out our YouTube channel at Squad Games Entertainment.